Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. One team's going on, one team's not. Meaningless game. Turn to my guys to the right. Chris, you tell the good folks why this is not a meaningless game.
Well, you tell them what Lovie Smith said all the way back in his very first press conference.
He said, we have got to play better against the Green Bay Packers.
That's exactly it. And here they are. They have a chance to knock off the team that is the #1 team in this division and has been for some time right now. And Lovie Smith went so far as to say, hey, this is our team's Super Bowl. Last game of the season, everything's on the line for us. As for the Green Bay Packers, a little tougher to come up with a scenario why it's important to this team. But I was a little bit surprised in talking to their players that they seem so interested. Maybe you have to go back to your days and the high school rivalries, and when your high school rival knocked you off, you certainly didn't want them to beat you twice in the same season, Troy. And you get a little bit of that kind of a feel coming out of the Packers today.
Yeah, and Mike Sherman has done everything that he can to convince his football team that this is not a meaningless game. In fact, he said, we have not played well in the first quarter of ball games this year. He wants to come out and start fast in this game and then allow some of these veteran guys to be able to rest. But really the key for Green Bay today is how well they play defensively. They're going up against the worst offensive football team in the Chicago Bears. If the Packers are going to do anything once they get into the playoffs, their defense has got to be a factor. This is a game, Joe, that potentially they could get some momentum and confidence heading into the playoffs.
So I guess to sum it up for the Green Bay offense, start fast, get out of here fast, and stay healthy. And for the defense, get some sort of confidence going before the playoffs start next weekend. There's still time to select your singular fantasy football team for this week. Text message play to 63504 on your singular wireless phone or vote on foxsports.com. One of the best rivalries in the NFC renewing itself here this afternoon at Soldier Field. The Green Bay Packers headed for the playoffs. The Chicago Bears headed for the offseason. Meet today, and it's yours next on Fox.
Available in 720p, the world's finest high-definition standard with Dolby 5.1.
Hi, this is Lieutenant Lisa Conroy here in Naples, Italy. I'd like to wish my family and friends, and especially Jackie Olson, a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays in La Crescent, Minnesota. I love you.
Hi, we're the Androses, stationed in Misawa Air Base, Japan. We want to wish our friends and family back in Lancaster, Wisconsin, a happy holidays, and go Packers.
New Year's, New Year's. Let's celebrate with store-wide savings. Don't hesitate. Every department has deals that are great and interest-free payments till 2008. A place for your buns, a place for your plates, a place to hang out in, a place to sleep late, and interest-free payments till 2008. The New Year's sale and 2008 financing, now at Home Furniture.
This holiday season, get great values on America's hottest products during the Chrysler year-end sales drive. There's Protective Pacifica, versatile PT convertible, spacious town and country, or get into PT Cruiser with more available horsepower and cargo space than Ford Focus, Honda Civic, or Toyota Corolla sedans. Now get $1,000 holiday bonus cash for a total savings of up to $3,200, plus make no monthly payments until May. Hurry, offers end January 3rd.
Tune in Wednesday at 8 p.m. for the Big Ten basketball matchup of the Wisconsin Badgers at Purdue on Fox 25/48.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Do you miss your old job?
I could have joined other agencies if I still wanted to work in the field. But I didn't. I wanted something different from my life.
What kind of things?
This.
Next Sunday,
There was intelligence indicating the possibility of an attack.
he's trying to escape his past.
What's happening with the suspect?
Fortunately for you, Jack, it's our problem, not yours.
I know this guy.
But for Jack Bauer, instinct never dies.
What is your primary objective?
What we will accomplish today will change the world.
If he is proven guilty, he will be executed.
Mr. President, all that remains is for you to give the order. Do it.
Get ready. A new day is about to begin.
I am asking you to let me help.
24, the two-night premiere event begins next Sunday on Fox.
You want to go back to prison?
No.
You want to make it out here, you're going to need a reason.
Do you know who that is? That's Johnny Calvo. He's like a living legend.
Friday, January 14th on Fox.
We welcome you back to Soldier Field here in Chicago, and before the national anthem, the fans and the players here and everyone involved with this game observed a moment of silence. The memory of Reggie White. Reggie White will be honored today by the Green Bay Packers with his number 92 and a decal on the back of their helmets. Reggie passing away at the age of 43 last Sunday. And the Green Bay Packers, we are told, have outfitted an entire locker with Reggie White's uniform, shoulder pad, the helmet, just as if he were here and getting ready to play in this game. The locker was right next to Brett Favre's locker. It was right by the door on the way out. So every Packer player heading out to play this game against the Chicago Bears, and there are a few still around who played with Reggie White. Notably, Brett Favre had a look at Reggie's locker on their way out today. Longwell will kick it away, and the Chicago Bears will start the day with the football. That's Azuma. Footing's not too great. We've had rain last night and early this morning, and Azuma's out to the 24-yard line. And that's where Chad Hutchinson and the Chicago Bears struggling offense will set up. The Bears won the toss, and the Chicago players out there at midfield looked at each other and said, well, I guess we want the football. Olin Kreutz is headed to his 4th Pro Bowl, and Chad Hutchinson will be trying to distribute the ball to Clark, Wade, Terrell, and the running back, Thomas Jones. And Jones gets it right up the gut, and he's across the 30, knocked down at the 31. A nice gain on first down of 7 yards. And defensively, the Green Bay Packers do not have Grady Jackson in their lineup today, giving that banged up left knee a week off. So Colin Cole gets the start, and then Cledius Hunt, guys, gets tapped on the shoulder this week, and they say you're not playing well enough. So Cullen Jenkins gets the start there. On second down, it's Jones. And Jones is inches shy of the 35. He has got enough for a first down as he picked up 4.
And for Thomas Jones, he sort of picks up right where he left off last time against the Green Bay Packers. 152 yards rushing in that game. And if you followed the Packers defensively, you know that he's one of many this season that's had big days running the football. Fred Taylor, Kevin Jones, Tiki Barber, all up over 150 yards.
First throw of the day from Hutchinson down the middle of the field. Terrell has got it. David into the open field. Barnett chasing him. Al Harris is there, and a fumble. They're going to call Terrell down at the 2. And a huge gain on the first throw from Hutchinson. 63 yards.
Well, one of the areas where Chicago has had some problems is in protecting their quarterback. This time they give Chad Hutchinson good protection up front. He's able to step up, and then David Terrell Of course, the embattled wide receiver, who many are suggesting may not even be a part of this club next season, comes up with one of the few big plays they've had.
Over the left side, it's Jones, and he is in a fast start for the Chicago Bears, trying to sweep this season series. And this is a nightmare start for this defense for Green Bay, trying to get some sort of confidence going into the playoffs. That is an awful first series.
Absolutely, and you go back to the play before, and it looked like Al Harris was peeping in the backfield, almost anticipating another Thomas Jones run, gets burned for the big play, and Mike Sherman wanted to see his team get off to a fast start. Well, they allowed this Bears offense that has been woeful to get off to a fast start.
Ettinger makes it 7-0. So it was Jones a few times, Terrell one big time, and Jones gets it into the end zone. The Bears fans having fun. Packer defense thinking, uh-oh, we're in trouble. 7-0 Chicago.
Tired of endless searches for low fares? Now available, the Southwest Shortcut shows you exactly which days our lowest online fares are available, only at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
It's that time of year again. Time for the Lexus December to Remember sales event, where you'll find the best values of the year on your favorite Lexus vehicles. See your Lexus dealer.
Remember grade school math? It's paying off like never before. Do the math. Add up what you're spending now compared to unlimited SBC local and long distance, high-speed internet, singular wireless, and digital satellite TV. You could start saving today, like adding SBC Yahoo DSL for just $19.95 a month. Don't thank us. Thank your second grade math teacher.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
Well, you look at the scoring drive, it only took 4 plays, 3 Thomas Jones runs, the 63-yard pass play to Terrell, and that's the longest play from scrimmage all year for the Chicago Bears. And Al Harris and members of that secondary wondering what hit him here in Chicago, of all places. The number 3 seed in the NFC. A terrible start defensively. This is Andre Thurman, who the Packers want to get a look at. Looking forward to the playoffs. I think he might give him a burst returning kicks. He returns that one 15 yards back to the big play.
This is really an unbelievable play by Al Harris. He actually peeks in the backfield anticipating another run from Thomas Jones and just absolutely drops coverage on the play and allows this big play to happen down the field.
Yeah, and then you'll see Mike Sherman come over and talk to Al Harris on the sidelines, want to know what happened on that play, why there was a bust in that coverage. I'll tell you, Mark Roman, the safety, he also missed on an opportunity to make a tackle and keep him from getting more yards on that play.
Play action from Favre. Over the middle, it's Franks, the tight end. He's got a first down as he is brought down just shy of the 49. They started with that U-71 package with Kevin Berry, an extra offensive lineman in there, and the Packers threw out of it.
Well, this was going to be a double move on the outside, but Charles Tillman doesn't bite. Javon Walker gives him the hesitate and go, and so Brett Favre has to check the thing down and really does a great job of not throwing it into coverage because Tillman did such a good job.
We will keep a close eye on those scores rolling across at the top of your screen today. Trying to set up a screen for Ahman Green, and it was incomplete. That'll bring up second down and 10. Offensively, I guess the only question for this offensive line is who's going to get the bigger day and maybe some playing time in the playoff game coming up next weekend between the two centers. Rugemer with Wells spelling him from time to time this afternoon for Green Bay, and then some Pro Bowlers to boast for the Packers with their backs and receivers.
Yeah, and a guy that was left off the Pro Bowl this year, Mike Wall, who certainly had a Pro Bowl year this year. In fact, probably has had Pro Bowl seasons the last couple of years.
On 2nd down and 10, they toss to Green. And Amon Green gets half a yard. 3rd and long coming up for the Packers. Defensively, as Todd Johnson comes away after making that last stop. You look up front, Tommy Harris has had a very good year. They're happy with the progress of Ian Scott. Alex Brown and Michael Haynes, the starting defensive ends. Boonlier is out for the rest of the year. The linebackers, Hillenmeyer in the middle, no Urlacher. Bears are winless without Urlacher in their starting lineup. And there's the secondary with McQuarters now at safety. 3rd down and 9. Out of the backfield, it's Fisher. And Fisher is going to be knocked down short of 1st down yardage. Jerry Azuma on the stop. And it will be 4th down.
You know, that's an area for the Chicago Bears defense where they've been outstanding all season long. They're 2nd in the National Football League stopping opposing offenses on 3rd down. And having said that, Green Bay has been exceptionally good on 3rd down this season.
I think they're going for it here, and I don't blame them. It's one of the nice things about playing in a meaningless game. You can make some bold decisions out there. But no question that what Mike Sherman wants to do is to get this offense cranking early and try and get a little momentum going and getting his guys out of the game. So why not go for it here?
Timeout, Green Bay. So the Packers will talk about a 4th and 1 when we come back.
You say you were at a bar with some friends, and these guys just came out of nowhere and took your Bud Light.
Yeah, that's right.
And they gave you this.
You think you can pick them out of a lineup?
Oh, yeah. That's them.
4, 5, 6, step forward.
Run! Some people will do anything to get the great taste of Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
What a bunch of freaks these guys.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough.
I'm full!
Fullness from a value menu.
This is my dad. He's full.
The Big Bell Value Menu from Taco Bell. With filling items like half-pound burritos and big double tacos. Designed to keep your stomach and your wallet full.
What are you supposed to be? I'm full.
All right. Yeah, I'm a pirate. Get full on value. Think outside the bun.
Where are Nigel and Trevor?
They're testing the vehicle stability control on the Lexus.
Any news?
The powerful allure of the new RX, continuing to put the world on notice.
It's the best damn sports show period, where sports and entertainment's biggest names turn television upside down. Weeknights on FSN.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here.
Out with a bad hamstring is Brian Urlacher. At the line, facing a 4th down and 1 are the Packers. Down 7. And they throw. Over the middle, incomplete, and the Bears hold. That's surprising.
Yeah, I think what was really surprising about it was they didn't at least go play action. And probably what they're trying to do, Troy, is send a little bit of a signal, put something on film, 4th and short for the playoff opponents to say, hey, look, 4th and 1 doesn't automatically mean a run for us.
Well, and Alex Brown was able to get some pressure on Brett Favre, and you're right. I mean, the way that the defense came out on that first possession and allowed Chicago to go right down the field and score the touchdown, Mike Sherman wanting to start fast really was left with no option, trying to get something going early early here in this first quarter, going for it on 4th down.
So the ball clanked off the hands of Bubba Franks, empty backfield, and Hutchinson fires. He's got his tight end lineman, and he makes the play. And a little run after the catch picked up 5. Did we see it even, Chris, on the first play from the Green Bay Packers? They bring in that U-71 package with Barry in there, and they open up with a throw. And that's something Brett Favre told us 4 weeks ago that they just didn't do.
Yeah, this is one of those games you definitely want your next opponent, that playoff opponent, to see some broken tendencies over what you've been doing for the most part all season.
2nd down and 5 for Chicago. On an end around, it's Berrien. And Bernard Berrien, that thing closed up on him in a hurry with Al Harris and KGB. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, well, some people have tried to peg this as a meaningless game, but don't tell that to either team. Redemption was the word being tossed around by the Packers as they headed out to the field. Meantime, for Chicago, I was standing outside of their locker room as they headed out. An assistant coach came up to me and he said, Pam, you're about to see something out here today. Perhaps a forecast for the effort that we're bound to see from the Bears so far today, Joe.
All right, Pam, they've come out with a certain jump to their step. There's no doubt. 3rd down and 3. Hutchinson in trouble, and down he goes. Corey Williams, a seldom used defensive end, is in there to make the sack, and that's his first of the year.
Yeah, and this is something that really has plagued the Chicago Bear offense throughout the season. They've had a lot of shuffling of the offensive linemen all year long, and they've not given their quarterbacks much protection. And Chad Hutchinson doing a good job there of just being able to hang on to the football. He has been known to put the ball on the ground when he gets pressure.
That is 58 sacks now allowed by the Chicago Bears offensive line. That is the most in the NFL. Fair catch called for. Penalty flag comes in at the end of the play as Chapman hauled it in, and we'll get our first call from Ron Winter, the referee.
You know, Joe, there's a lot of reasons why teams take sacks, and one of the major ones for this Bears team is the receivers don't often get open either. I mean, when you look at this group as a group, it has not been a very productive season.
During the kick, holding, number 28, the receiving team. Penalized to the end of the kick, 10 yards, 1st down.
So it's a hold against the Green Bay Packers. Ahmad Carroll, guilty. That cost the Pack 10 yards, and they will start with it inside their own 15.
Almost there. Okay. Surprise.
Oh, honey. How did you get a bow that big?
It's that time of year again. Time for the Lexus December to Remember sales event, where you'll find the best values of the year on your favorite Lexus vehicles. See your Lexus dealer.
These people are getting answers to the most important questions they'll ever ask. Questions about their health. They're finding those answers in a single place. WebMD. 20 million people come to WebMD every month. They find vital information that used to be scattered in 100 locations, now all in one place. The place America comes for healthcare answers. A place called WebMD.
I've been getting messages from the dead. Warnings. And threats. I don't contact the dead. The dead contact me. White noise. Rated PG-13.
America's deadliest enemies.
What we will accomplish today will change the world.
Are not behind enemy lines. They are living right next door.
I need your help to stop them. Are you with me?
Foreign terrorists are operating on our soil. The television event of the year is about to begin.
I want a visual in the location.
2 nights. 4 hours. 24. The 2-night premiere event begins next Sunday on Fox.
The Chicago Bears believe that the building blocks are there for the future defensively. Playing without a couple of their studs in this game, Dunlier and Urlacher. As the Packers toss it to Green, and running left, he picks up 3. We look at three important scores with playoff implications. Washington has a lead and the ball as they host Minnesota. Minnesota gets in with a win. They can also get in if they don't win with either a Carolina loss or a St. Louis loss. Carolina gets a 55-yard field goal from John Casey. They lead at home over New Orleans. And St. Louis and the Jets no score early at the Edward Jones Dome. 2nd down and 7. Favre hits his fullback Henderson. Wide open. Henderson gets it out to the 32. Let's go for a game break. Hello, JB.
Joe Buck, Happy New Year, buddy. Patrick Ramsey and the Redskins capitalizing on a 66-yard kickoff return, hooking up there with Chris Cooley for the score. Washington up 7-0. We know the Vikes need this one. Certainly want this one, but Joe Gibbs has not lost to Minnesota. He's 7-0 against the Vikes. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, so Mike Tice is walking up and down that sideline knowing that his $1 million option has been picked up. But again, it could be a last weekend of the regular season filled with heartbreak for the Minnesota Vikings if they don't figure out how to beat the Redskins.
And you just have to wonder if the Vikings have recovered from that game a week ago, a game that certainly after the interception looked like they had in hand, and then Brett Favre and Javon Walker and Donald Driver pulled off the magic there in the 4th quarter, and maybe there's a little hangover from that.
First string offense still in there for Green Bay, and they'll probably play at least the first quarter. 2nd down and 4. Favre flips it to Franks. He's been busy here in the first quarter, and Bubba Franks is inside Chicago territory to the 48th. Talk about magic, and Brett Favre here in Chicago since 1994. He's won 10 straight, and that is an NFL record for a quarterback against a certain team on the road. 10-0 since 1994.
I had a chance to talk to Brett prior to the game, and you know, he's not going to play the entire ball game. In fact, I would expect that he'll be on the sidelines here after this first quarter. But in talking with him, he would like to play the full 60 minutes. He thinks it's important to try to maintain the momentum that they currently have.
They do a reverse. They hand to Driver, and Driver has nowhere to go. Big loss on the play as the Chicago defense was waiting for it. Idonije makes the stop in the end and a loss of 9.
Yeah, Hunter Hillenmeyer really was the guy that smelled that one out and broke through and just was sitting there waiting for Donald Driver. They were coming on a blitz, and Hillenmeyer couldn't get him on the ground. Maybe the bad ankle had a little bit of an impact there, but when you come around on the reverse and you're looking at the middle linebacker, it's not a very good sight.
So it's 2nd down and 19. Hillenmeyer's a former Packer. Mike Sherman has said he wished he had him back. Full house backfield and a toss to Fisher running left. And the defense for the Bears certainly not mailing it in. A gain of only 2. 3rd down and forever coming up for the Packers.
Well, and so far what Mike Sherman wanted was for this offense to come out and play well early in the game. Has not really happened, but you know, this is a good defensive football team of the Chicago Bears. And what I thought was interesting this week in listening to Jerry Angelo, their general manager, as many problems as they have on the offensive side of the ball, he did not rule out the fact that they may still go into the April draft looking for more defensive help.
3rd down and 17. Good screen play. Amon Green trying to pick his way for a first down. He's got that and more. Amon Green is down inside the 35 to the 33. Azuma on the tackle, a gain of 19.
It's always just amazing to me that when a defense is looking at a 3rd down and 17, that a draw or a screen can have any kind of success whatsoever. Everybody on the defensive side had to be yelling out, watch the draw, watch the screen in that situation, and yet the Packers still able to pick up the first down.
Yeah, and the screens are something that Green Bay's gotten away from. They've not run as many of them this year. I'm a little surprised Amon Green's still playing in this game. He's playing with fractured ribs.
They hand to Fisher, and he goes nowhere. Fisher was met by Marcus Reese, Alex Brown. No gain on the play. You wonder if the Green Bay Packers can get the ball down the field into the end zone. It'll take a little bit of the pressure off Mike Sherman yanking this group after, let's say, one quarter of play. If they don't do anything here, it's almost like, you know, maybe you want to run him back out there.
It's really the toughest thing that he's got to try to manage through this game. I mean, certainly you want to go into next week with momentum, but you want to be able to rest some of your players. And so how he's able to balance that and get these guys playing at a significant enough level to where he feels comfortable putting them on the bench is going to be key.
Bears look confused defensively. Barr fires. Fisher makes the catch. He was left all alone by Nate Vasher. Prior to the play, Fisher had no one across from him. Vasher got out there late and then just left him alone.
And you got Chad Clifton here at left tackle working against Alex Brown, and that's one of the reasons why Brett Favre continually has the seasons that he has. He gets great protection off the edges by both Chad Clifton and Mark Tauscher, and Tony Fisher did a nice job, like you said, Joe, of just sitting out there and waiting for the ball to come to him.
I don't think Brett could believe he was that wide open.
Barr for the end zone. Franks is waiting for it. Touchdown.
You've got to be kidding me. I don't know what Mike Green was thinking about on that play.
Well, they run a high-low on Mike Green. They put the back out in the flat. They run Bubba Franks to the corner. Mike Green sucks up on the back, as you're going to see. And that gets Bubba Franks in behind him, and Mike Green's not able to get back and make a play.
You could see Green pointing at Charles Tillman. Maybe he was anticipating that he would go with him, but clearly a blown coverage on that one.
Yeah, typically you'll see a linebacker who runs out to cover the fullback in the flat.
That is the 29th touchdown pass of the season for Brett Favre. He's only one touchdown away from adding to his record. He has 7 seasons of 30 or more touchdowns in a year. He's one away from making it 8. Frank's waiting for it. They don't come any easier than that for Favre.
Heinrich, yeah. I'll be right there.
They've left little room for compromise.
Headlights that turn on curves.
Impressive.
The new RX from Lexus.
They are waiting for you.
Continuing to put the world on notice.
Your family just got a whole lot bigger. Now that Cingular has joined forces with AT&T Wireless to bring you the largest calling community in America. Talk to any Cingular or AT&T Wireless customer for free.
Can you ask someone to pass the gravy?
All 46 million of them. Now with Family Talk, add a member of your family to ours for just $9.99 a line. The new Cingular, raising the bar.
You may be moving away, but this is not a retreat, it's an attack. You see the angles, the crisscrossing patterns. You see the intersections of pathways and men. You see that space opening up. It shouldn't be there, but it is. And you do just what you always do. You let it go. The playoffs are where moments are made. What's next?
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL, get ready for the game. By White Noise, the most disturbing film in years, starts Friday. And by the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now through January 3rd.
Lake Michigan, weather is pretty much beautiful for this time of year in Chicago. I can barely see the road from the heat coming up. 3 minutes, 22 seconds left in the first quarter. And Azuma gets another chance to return a kick. And he got smoked by Vontae Leach as he crossed the 30, a return of 26 yards. A lot of records sitting out there for this Green Bay offense and Brett Favre individually. He gets his 29th touchdown pass of the season. Meaningless? Nah. It's 7-7.
Not in our house, buddy. Not today.
Oh, no! This ain't going down. Not today, Johnny, now!
Not today. Not today. Not tomorrow.
Nobody coming in here. Not in our house. Not in our house.
Visa, official
special card of the NFL in the house of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, where they accept no other card to get you in. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Yeah, having a little car trouble. I'm State Farm agent Larry Bitterman, and this is a true story. I was there on vacation, so I called the local State Farm agent.
We're not really sure how the car got into the lake.
Yeah, the map was a disappointment. They called a local diver, and it turns out that's me too. I think he started my plane before it even dried off. And we settled it the next day. Where would I have been without him?
Sunk.
Any insurance company can promise you a good price, but nobody takes care of you like State Farm. We'd love to prove it to you. Call an agent today.
Like a good neighbor.
State Farm is there.
Gannon to Tim Brown, Gannon to Jerry Rice, all season long. Hey, what's your step?
NFC West? I like the 49ers.
Kellen Winslow is the best thing that ever happened to Butch Davis.
Ricky Williams has one thing on his mind. That's winning football games.
Hey, Donnie, what's the name of that quarterback the Steelers drafted? Rothel something. Nice pick, Kawa.
Helping out in the community is what matters to the NFL and the United Way. Get involved in your community. It's what matters.
Couple Packers from days gone by. Don Beebe on your right. Frank Winters, the longtime center for Brett Favre, on the left as the Bears hand to Jones, and Thomas is out to the 36, a gain of 3. Just to talk about some of the records that are out there. Brett Favre is now over 4,000 yards passing for the 4th time in his career, and the first time since 1999 with that touchdown throw to Bubba Franks. And as we said, he's got 7 seasons, Chris, of 30 or more touchdowns.
Whoa. Sorry, too late, yeah.
7 seasons of 30 or more touchdowns, which is an NFL record. He's got 29 this year. The next closest to him is Marino with 4. He could double Marino with 8 if he can get one more. I wouldn't be shocked to see that first-string offense go back out there.
No, I wouldn't either, Joe. And when you talk about Brett Favre, I mean, here he is in his 14th season, and yet his numbers this year are better than his career averages. So he certainly has shown no signs of slipping. The big key when you start getting at that age is, can you stay healthy and can you come back and play on a weekly basis? And of course, Brett Favre's done that better than anybody.
He is the standard for that. Thomas Jones runs into a wall, got nothing, and it'll be 4th down for Chicago. And that, by the way, Troy, everything you just said is good news for Mike Sherman, who said his retirement is directly tied into the retirement of Brett Favre. And he said, I've got 1 kid in college and 4 on the way, so I don't plan on stepping down anytime soon.
And just think all of the assistant coaches that are currently with Green Bay that won't get opportunities to become head coaches when Brett Favre retires, because when you look around the league, there's a lot of guys out there that are head coaches and admit as much because of Brett Favre.
Winding down the first quarter as Chapman waits for the punt from Maynard, who just got a contract extension. Chapman lost his footing and takes a seat at the 18. Let's look at the other side. Since Brett Favre took over in '92, the Bears have had 19 different starting quarterbacks, only one of which had 15 or more touchdown throws, no Pro Bowl selections. And we see Hutchinson there end up on his back. And I guess, guys, Hutchinson has at least played his way into next season as a backup with this Chicago team.
Well, that's what they've said, yes. And then you look at what they've done in recent years to try to correct the problems that they've had at quarterback. Of course, Cade McNown back in '99, they drafted him in the 1st round. He's no longer even in football. And then Rex Grossman, and they're hopeful that he will be that guy.
They toss it to Green as the first-string offense is back out on the field. And Ahman Green gets 4.
But I think you also have to look at what happened to the Chicago Bears this year. They went in with basically 1 quarterback, and that being Rex Grossman. And with Rex Grossman coming off the knee injury and Chad Hutchinson as your backup, I cannot imagine this football team, and Lovie Smith essentially was telling us the same, not going out and getting another #1 quarterback. Who that may be, we don't know, but certainly they're not going to put themselves in the same position as they did this year. When their quarterback got hurt, their season was over.
Well, that guy could very well already be on the squad, and Jeff George.
2nd down and 6. And that's in the air, and it falls free. Tommy Harris got his hand up and batted it back toward the face of Brett Favre. It'll be 3rd down.
You really think that Jeff George could be the next guy? I really don't think that that's a possibility, but you may have a different opinion of Jeff George than I do.
No, I just threw it out there.
You just chucked it out there.
You're not hitching your wagon to Jeff George?
That piece of salami hit me right in the side of the head over here.
3rd down and 6. Wall comes over to help give protection to Favre. And Favre just flips it and basically got rid of it before he got pasted, which is good news for Mike Sherman and the Green Bay Packers. Just be smart.
You know, one of the guys who's not playing today is Najee Davenport, and you know, he's had problems all season long just staying healthy. He's had hamstring problems, he's had foot problems, and you know, he's a guy who they really need to get healthy going into the playoffs, because with Ahman Green and his health and some of the injuries he's had, Najee Davenport could really help him.
Barker with a punt. McQuarters on the return. Nice return by McQuarters. RW is inside the 40. Impressive return of 21 yards. And for McQuarters, right now, that's one of the most important things he does for the Chicago Bears team.
It really is, Joe, yeah, because he hasn't contributed an entire, a whole lot defensively, being moved back there to safety, and not sure whether or not he's going to be back next season, but he is a tremendous punt returner, and he has at times this year given this offense tremendous field position.
And he definitely wants to come back. It's just a matter of whether the organization wants him.
I would too if I were him. He's got 2 years and $6.5 million left on a contract.
You'd return a punt or two, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Timeout is taken here by Green Bay. They have only one left. Next Sunday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, beginning with America's #1 pregame show, we have playoff football, and that is as specific as we can get. That's bad news for you, the viewer. That's bad news for us, the travelers and the announcers. And for a guy like Mike Sherman, he has no idea when they're going to play next weekend. He only knows they're going to play either Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, and he's a little distraught about that. I mean, coaches, they like schedules and they like routines and they like to know things so they can map out how they're going to go about preparing for that game next week. The league's not been able to tell them when they'll be playing next week, whether it'll be Saturday or Sunday. Combine that with the fact that there are a whole host of teams that they may be facing. It's been very unnerving for him.
But there's even more to come next Sunday. To Jones, and Thomas Jones picked up 2. KGB on the stop. Troy, this is big news for you and anybody who likes good television. That wild card game next Sunday is followed by a special 2-hour premiere of 24.
Best show on television.
Kiefer Sutherland, and I think I saw William Devane on the promo.
Really?
I think. I might have dreamt that. I don't know. The end of the first quarter, the score 7-7. Chicago with the ball inside Green Bay territory. The NFL on Fox will continue after these messages.
Remember grade school math? It's paying off like never before. Do the math. Add up what you're spending now compared to unlimited SBC local and long distance, high-speed internet, singular wireless, and digital satellite TV. You could start saving today, like adding SBC Yahoo DSL for just $19.95 a month. Don't thank us. Thank your second grade math teacher.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Get into your GMC dealer and choose an 05 Sierra 1500 extended cab 4x4 with available option package discounts and cash back, and you get a total value of $5,500 with GMAC financing. Or there's extraordinary red tag year-end savings on the power, precision, and design of select professional-grade GMC trucks. Through January 3rd, see some red, save some green at your participating GMC dealer.
Not too many guys can do something like this. then not too many guys can do something like this. The 2/3 pound Monster Thick Burger, the largest double burger in the country at Hardee's.
January, the producers of ER present the story of an ex-con who becomes a very unlikely hero.
You kicked out my little brother's teeth one night. I think you got the wrong guy. Yo, Taquan.
Johnny Zero premieres Friday, January 14th on Fox.
Defense for the Bears has started out pretty well. It's a 7-7 game. They had a couple of breakdowns on the touchdown drive by the Packers in their secondary. Second down for Chicago. KGB is coming. And Kabir Bajab-Biamila brings down Chad Hutchinson, and that gives him 10.5 on the year.
Yeah, and Mark Colombo, he's one of the guys who's auditioning in this game. He made his first start in 2 years last week. Got better as the game went along, but he's got his hands full today against a speed rusher. And when you're talking about a guy who's coming off of a knee injury, I don't know what kind of looks Mark Colombo is going to be able to give to this organization to try to give them an opinion on whether or not he's going to be the guy as they move into next year.
I know what their opinion is after that play.
Well, that's one of those spots in the draft that could come up. Premier left tackle as Hutchinson fires the pass, incomplete. No catch, incomplete pass. Desmond Clark could not hang on to it. Fourth down, and let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, some really interesting discussions going on with the Packers defense whenever they come to the sideline. That last series, they were being coached up and pumped up like this was pretty much a playoff game. They're being encouraged to get things going, to speed up the tempo. Getting in and out of the huddle faster is being encouraged. Mike Sherman continues to come back and forth and encourage that group, and a couple of times even pointed some guys out, Joe.
Well, I think a lot of teams in this final weekend, even though they're in the playoffs, have to play a game of that nature. A team like Atlanta sticks out to me, where they can't go up to Seattle and mail it in, especially after the week they had last week against the Saints. Chapman called for a fair catch. It hit a Bear player in the helmet. Chapman comes up limping, and I would imagine that somebody from the Bears was pushed into Chapman, and that's why there's no flag at the moment.
It looked like Ahmad Carroll was blocked into Chapman, which is why Chapman was unable to make the catch.
It hit McMillan in the back. That's an illegal touch. It hit McMillan right in the middle of the back, and now the officials will get together and talk about this play, but you're right.
There is no foul on the play. There was an illegal touch by number 26 of the kicking team. The ball was recovered illegally at the 14-yard line. First down, Green Bay.
So because of the illegal touch, there was no foul for Chapman getting banged into. He is limping, and that could be a big loss for Green Bay. No foul on the fair catch, an illegal touch. The Packers have the ball. We take timeout.
Trailers don't have anti-lock brakes, crumple zones, or airbags. That's why we designed the new Ford Super Duty with the only integrated trailer brake controller, part of our exclusive Tow Command system. Because what good is towing a 19,200-pound trailer if you can't control it? This is the next Ford Super Duty, built Ford tough.
That's mine. Hey, beer? Aspen Edge, what is that? It's better. It's like low-carb beer and great tasting low-carb beer. Kind of like where he went to college and where I went to college. Sort of like the number of girls you dated in college versus the number of girls I dated in college. Kind of like your man purse and my wallet.
Aspen Edge, arguably the best low-carb lager.
I think it's more like your steak and my steaks. Seriously, is that my steak? You want to see your corn?
What happens when a bunch of NFL players live in one house for one season?
P-Hope, bring it on over.
Yes, sir. John Lynch, let's go, baby.
Come on, D-Max.
Give me the Chad Johnson, let's go, baby.
PG.
Flex.
Whoa. Thanks, your pick.
Come on. I think I'm going to take the meter man over here. Hey, meter guy.
Okay. Seriously?
Lace him up. Lace him up.
You need a kicker?
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Ford. The next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter. By Ameriquest Mortgage, the company that knows you are more. By Aspen Edge, the low-carb lager with more taste. And by Elektra, the next movie from the world of Marvel Comics, January 14th, only in theaters.
The word on Antonio Chapman, an ankle injury. His return is questionable. The Packers have it starting at their own 14-yard line, and even though we're in the second quarter, Favre and company still in there, and Favre airs it out to Driver. Donald Driver goes up to grab it. What a catch by number 80. And he is at the Chicago 38.
Well, again, Brett Favre has time to throw the football and allow Donald Driver to get up this sideline. It's one-on-one on the outside, but Donald Driver just wanted this ball more. You're going to see he's going against Jerry Azuma. Jerry Azuma turning, trying to locate the ball, but Donald Driver went up and made a play. Azuma was in good position, Chris, to try to make a play on it himself.
And how hot is Donald Driver? He played the best game I've ever seen him play in his career last week in that big playoff-like game against the Vikings. He was incredible.
We talk about the great receiver combinations. Wide open is Henderson. William Henderson is in for the touchdown, and that gives Brett Favre 30 for the season. There are no flags down, and Favre is up to 30 for the 8th time in his Hall of Fame career.
Well, pretty fast start for Mike Sherman in this offensive unit. You're going to see William Henderson coming out in the flat. It's a little bit of an out and up, and Mike Green, the safety, comes out to cover him, and then William Henderson just runs right by him and knocks Mike Green down, and that's why he was as open as what he was. Mike Green was anticipating the flat throw. They run the out and up, wide open for the touchdown.
So basically, Mike Green has contributed to 2 Green Bay touchdowns so far.
And part of Brett Favre adding to that record, an NFL record with 30 touchdowns for the 8th time in his career, and for Henderson, his 3rd touchdown catch. Azuma had a shot at him and thought, the offseason's coming up, you know. I'll just let William go. Favre, congratulations.
What if you could feel this relaxed about your financial future? Even with 3 kids in college. Even with retirement fast approaching. There's someone who can help you feel this way. Someone who's developed more financial plans than anyone else. The personal financial advisors of American Express.
Now with SBC Yahoo DSL, you can connect faster for less, and not for just 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. Get high-speed internet for $19.95 a month all year long. Our lowest price ever. Now with SBC Yahoo DSL, you can download more for less. Music, movie trailers, sports highlights, photos, and more for one low price. Get high-speed internet for $19.95 a month all year long. Our lowest price ever.
By anchoring a more powerful 6-liter Power Stroke diesel engine to its frame, we gave the new Ford Super Duty more pulling power than any other pickup. Enough to lug up to 19,200 pounds. Don't get in its way. This is the next Ford Super Duty. Built Ford Tough.
American Idol is back, bigger and better than ever. Could this be the next Ruben Studdard?
All I do is think about you. You have a brilliant voice, yes.
Don't miss a note.
There'll be more talent in this season than all 3 put together.
American Idol premieres Tuesday, January 18th on Fox.
Donald Driver with the big play, the 48-yard catch, and that was followed by the 38-yard touchdown catch by the Pro Bowl-bound William Henderson. And the Packers are up by 7. Azuma chasing it down and gets it on 2 bounces inside the 5. Full head of steam, and Jerry Azuma across the 20. He is down at the 22. I started to say, guys, that they talk about the great receiver combinations across the NFL, and nobody talks about Driver and Javon Walker. Here's the big play with Driver.
Well, you said it. Javon Walker, he's going to the Pro Bowl, but Donald Driver very easily could have gone to the Pro Bowl this year as well. Both over 1,000 yards receiving, and then they come back to the Pro Bowl fullback, William Henderson, and got good hands for a big guy. I mean, obviously a tremendous blocker, but he's also a good receiver.
Hutchinson hands off. Jones on the carry over the right side, and Thomas Jones picked up 4. KGB on the tackle.
And I think the good news for the Packers is that their passing game is getting hot at the right time as they're going into the playoffs. Donald Driver, the last 6 games, 5 touchdowns and averaging 98 yards per catch. And Brett Favre, just off of the momentum from a week ago when he was so brilliant in the 4th quarter leading his team back, you got to know he's feeling pretty good going into the playoffs as well.
And it's so far to say what he said during the week. Hey, if I get hurt, I get hurt. I just want to play.
I like his odds.
It's 2nd and 6. And Jones carries it across the 30 to the 31, got 4, and we go down to Pam Oliver.
Yeah, Joe, eventually Craig Nall will get in this game. When we spoke to him yesterday, he'll recall he didn't know when, and watching him after Favre scored that touchdown, he's still sort of trying to figure out when that's going to be. He's tried to occupy himself by getting involved with his clipboard and keeping himself busy that way. Now he's just standing around, but so far he has not gotten that nod at this point.
Thanks, Pam. We'll take a break. It's 3rd down and 2. An injury to Paris Lennon, a backup linebacker. They look at him. We'll come back. 3rd down for Chicago when we return.
Excuse me. I'm ready for my test drive. I brought my own course.
It's your last chance for Mazda's Drive-In the New Year sales event. Lease the Mazda 6, a 2-time Automobile Magazine All-Star for just $199 a month. That's the 2005 Mazda 6i Sports Sedan for just $199 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at lease signing. It all ends January 3rd. Get to your Mazda dealer for a test drive now.
For centuries, a war has been waged in the shadows between forces beyond our imagination. But on January 14th,
her name is Elektra.
The ultimate warrior will emerge. The final battle will begin. From the forces that brought you X-Men, Elektra. The final battle begins January 14th. Rated PG-13.
NFL Youth Football teaches you skills like teamwork, leadership, respect, confidence, and courage. Life skills. Collect them all. To find out how NFL Youth Football programs do more than just teach you to play, log on to NFLYouthFootball.com.
Today's game on Fox is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Third down and 2 for the Bears. Hutchinson with time. Over the middle, it's picked off by Sharper. Darren Sharper down the sideline. He's tied a Packer record. Darren Sharper has his 7th defensive touchdown, which ties him with Herb Adderley for the club record for the Green Bay Packers. His 3rd touchdown of this season.
And that's the kind of play this Green Bay defense needed. To watch Chad Hutchinson, he's late. He's looking for a guy. He's looking. He comes to the middle late. And anytime you start trying to throw the ball over the middle of the field late, typically bad things happen. Darren Sharper saw that the entire way and got a good break on the ball, Chris.
You know, the other thing, Troy, is they didn't have anybody clearing the safeties out. There was no deep route on the play, which allowed Sharper to jump the underneath route.
It's 21-7. The Green Bay Packers getting off now to that fast start after a couple of struggling series. Hutchinson throws the pick. His 3rd of the year, and Sharper was there to take it back.
Brown keeps my customers in the loop. Used to be they didn't know when they'd get their sunglasses, so they'd call me. Now Now, with UPS, my customers get an email letting them know when their order is going to arrive. It's like I answer their questions, even before they ask.
How'd you do that?
I'm telepathic.
Email notification for better customer service. UPS, what can Brown do for you?
I feel good.
Imagine how good it would feel to pay off your high-interest credit cards. And that's just one of the great things refinancing with AmeriQuest can help you do.
I knew that I wouldn't.
Your own personal AmeriQuest loan specialist can help you lower your monthly payments. We'll even do the paperwork.
So good. So good.
Call 1-800-AmeriQuest now or go to AmeriQuest.com. AmeriQuest, the company that knows you are more.
In a town filled with mystery, a secret legacy is about to be unleashed.
She was just there in the water.
We found Christina.
You knew this day would come, Kingston?
She doesn't know how she affects people, how she changes people.
There are two sides to every soul.
When people get close to me, if I get angry or upset,
Something bad happens to him.
Point Pleasant premieres Wednesday, January 19th on Fox.
If you'd never met your father,
I'm your dad. I'm your dad.
I'm your dad. Could you pick him out from a group of strangers?
I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old.
Witness the most dramatic reunion event ever televised.
I'm scared to death.
And a lifelong dream fulfilled.
Dad? Oh, God.
Who's Your Daddy? A 90-minute Fox special at 8/7 Central tomorrow.
The secret ending to that Fox show, Who's Your Daddy? At the end, it's Darth Vader.
I thought it was Pedro Martinez.
He walks out. It's Nelson De La Rosa, the 29-inch friend of Pedro Martinez. Azuma on the return. And Jerry Azuma is out to the 26.
You know, we go back and take a look at that interception, and one of the problems the Bears have had all season is they've not been able to stretch the defense, and so as a result you get secondary play that's not threatened to go down the field, and they start sitting on everything, and that's what's happened over the last month of the season, and that's what happened here with Darren Sharper. He's not feeling threatened because the Bears do not go by anybody, and that's why he gets a big jump on that pass.
Well, you go back a couple of weeks ago and the play he made on that Byron Leftwich fumble, and everybody else thought the play was over. Just a real heads-up guy.
Yeah, you have to at least ask the question, why are the Chicago Bears so sold on Chad Hutchinson? What has he done in the time? And I know he doesn't have a lot of weapons around him, but he has to be doing things in practice. I know he's doing things in the huddle that Lovie Smith likes, but to just automatically say he's played so well that we think he's going to be in our mix for the top 2 spots next year, but he still has something to show, and that's why he's playing in this game, and they're not giving a chance to Jeff George to knock the rust off and see what he can do as they hit Jones coming out of the backfield, and Thomas has a first down.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joe, and he's obviously going to go into camp, and he'll be battling for that number 2 spot. They feel like they've seen enough from him that he gets that opportunity, but I would agree, he's 1-3 as the starter here in Chicago. I mean, he has shown signs of being able to be a contributor for this football team, but it's hard to evaluate all these guys when you're talking about the shuffling of the offensive line. Their wide receivers have had a hard time getting open for them, and very hard for any quarterback to look good in this offense.
Play action on first down over the middle. It's Clark, the big tight end. And Desmond Clark gets 5.
You know, I just think it's a matter of comparing Chad Hutchinson to what they saw with Jonathan Quinn and Craig Krenzel. I mean, they were so horrendous at the quarterback position earlier in the season. All of a sudden, a guy that can just throw the ball 20 yards down the field with a little something on it is like, oh, baby, look at this guy. He looks like a quarterback out there. But I just would be really surprised if they're not going out in free agency and trying to land one of the big-name quarterbacks.
The guy they really like is Rex Grossman. And Lovie Smith is completely sold on him. Roman coming on a blitz, and Hutchinson goes down. Back at the 30. And if Roman has done anything from the safety spot, it's that, coming on blitzes and getting sacks. He's now got 3.5.
Yeah, the Packers have gotten away from the blitz a little bit here recently, but Mark Roman, the safety, he steps up, nobody blocks him, Chad Hutchinson does not see it and is unable to get the ball out. But Bob Slowik, the defensive coordinator, on the sidelines again here today for the second week in a row. They say that that's really helped with communication. Not showing as much blitz, but more effective when they use it.
I think that was one of those green blitzes with the tight end block that released him to blitz.
Third down at 17. Five-man rush, and Jones, as they try to set up a screen, can't make the connection. Fourth down, and this Bears fan base is turning on them here today in this battle with Green Bay. While we get ready, he is. Here's a game break, JB.
Hey, Joe, we know that the Rams need a victory and some help for the postseason to be secure for them. Take a look at Mark Bulger. Post corner route run by Isaac Bruce. 27-yard strike. Rams have moved out in front. That in the second over the Jets by the score of 7-3. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, they need to win, and they have to hope that either Minnesota loses or Seattle loses at home to Atlanta. Great coverage downfield after a 38-yard punt. Craig Nall is coming into the game, and that answers the question not only, Troy, for us and the rest of the Packers, but for Craig Nall. He had no idea what he was going to do today.
You know, and the unsettling thing for him, Joe, was the fact that he got some work on Thursday in practice because that Brett Favre was attending Reggie White's funeral. But other than that, he's not had any work with the #1 unit. So he's not played a lot of football, and he's not thrown to the guys that he's going to be throwing to here today.
And this is a big moment for him. There's no question about it. They are, let's say, unconvinced thus far that he is the heir apparent to Brett Favre. And you start looking down the road a little bit in the future, and what do? Every time you have a draft choice, you want to draft somebody to help Brett Favre win a championship, and yet eventually you do know someday you have to draft somebody to replace him.
Well, I think Ron Wolf did it best, and he had the philosophy that they were going to draft a quarterback every year. Every year they were going to bring a guy in, and that's why when you look at the Mark Brunells and the Detmers and those types of guys, why so many young quarterbacks have been here and gone on to play for other teams.
It's second down and 6. Nall fires over the middle, and he completes it to the tight end, Bubba Franks, and they talk a lot about the arm strength, just so people know what the guy looks like. I mean, when he comes in to mop up for Brett Favre, you see him with the helmet on. I mean, this is the face of Craig Nall. There's no truth to the rumors that the FBI has put people into the witness relocation program. Walking the sideline supposedly as the backup to Brett Favre. He's got piercing blue eyes, and he's into the game.
We had him in a production meeting last night. I asked him, I said, is this the first production meeting you've ever been in? And he said, well, actually, I went to one when I was over in NFL Europe. And Brett said, that doesn't count.
That's steal. He was looking for it, and the safety for the Bears, Mike Green, wasn't. And pretty good for Craig Nall.
Well, and I'll tell you what, for a young quarterback like Craig Nall, and you get in, you're a little nervous, you got some anxiety, and you want to get off to a quick start, generally, your offensive coordinator will call some things that are shorter passes, but here Mike Sherman, who's still calling the plays, obviously, for them, he's forcing the ball down the field, and Craig Nall's responding.
But you look at what the guy's done this year. I was kind of joking with him last night. I was like, I'm not so sure you want to get in the game. You might just finish the year with that 144 quarterback rating, but he might improve on it here today.
On first down, Lucci gets the carry. And Nick is down just inside the 25. Just so you know, the guys that have played behind Brett Favre as backups over 14 years. There's been 9 of them that have gotten into a ball game. 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And I'll ask you, Troy, how in the world do you throw a football with a splint on your middle finger on your throwing hand? And that's what Craig Nall has, and it doesn't bother him.
He's been throwing with it all year long, and we saw the graphic, 9 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. You'd like to say, well, these guys have learned a lot from watching Brett Favre, but he's really one of the last guys you want to try to pattern your play after as far as fundamentals.
Nall fires into the end zone. What a catch by Javon Walker.
Wow.
Make it 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Quarterback rating just went up again.
And Nall, by the way, has 4 of those touchdowns behind Brett Favre, and Favre is applauding his understudy.
You know, you might be able to make a case that he should start next week in the playoffs.
Yeah, there you go. Let's try selling that one in Green Bay. But how about Javon Walker? I mean, this young man has just had one of the great seasons of anybody in the National Football League this year. We've seen him time after time this season just simply go up and make plays over defensive backs, run by them, cut underneath them. A phenomenal season for him.
The extra point makes it 28-7, and now getting the congratulations on the sideline. Girlfriend telling him do 2 things. Don't turn the ball over and don't get hurt, Craig. He gets a chance to celebrate a touchdown. It's 28-7 Packers.
Destiny will unfold, and champions will rise. Super Bowl 39. The Daytona 500. Events only on Fox.
Javon Walker, a 25-yard touchdown catch. For Javon, that gives him 12 touchdowns on the season, and we talked about the splint in the middle finger of his right hand on the laces of the football, and Nall isn't bothered by it.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, he showed it to me prior to the game, and there's not a lot of tape that's between the finger and the ball, but he's not able to bend it. But surprisingly enough, he said it's not a factor. He's been using it for so long this season in practice that it does not bother him.
We were talking to him about Brett Favre, and he said, you know, what do you watch about Brett Favre? And he said, just the way he comes to practice every day and how hard he works. And we said, what don't you watch with Brett Favre? He said, his footwork.
Yeah.
Don't ever want to watch Brett Favre's footwork.
Well, how long did it take Holmgren to try to pound out the Favre instincts that Matt Hasselbeck had picked up over the years, backing him up, as Berrien gets it on the return, and Bernard Berrien is out to the 26. And it's been one record after another set by the Green Bay Packers today. Corey Williams, who already has a sack today, made the stop on the kickoff coverage team. They have a team record now for total yards in a season. They will continue to add to that for first downs, for pass completions. And should Donald Driver get a touchdown today, it would be the first time in Packer history they'd have 2 receivers with 10 or more touchdowns in the same season. Favre is up to his 30 touchdown throws for the 8th time in his career in a season, as the Bears toss to Thomas Jones, and Jones is out of bounds shy of the 40 with a first down for Chicago.
You know, Chris, you talked about the wide receivers for the Green Bay Packers and Javon Walker and the outstanding catch that he made there for the touchdown. But I tell you what, Donald Driver is also a guy, and even though Javon Walker is going to the Pro Bowl, I think that these 2 guys are really underrated players in the National Football League, and the hands that they have and the way that they come out each and every week and play at such a high level. They have done a terrific job all season long.
Well, especially when you consider the type of weather they play in and how hard Brett Favre throws the ball.
Jones takes an official out with him. The umpire takes a seat. Jones got 9.5, and we will give the umpire half a tackle.
Well, the umpire, he's the guy who got in the middle of the fray last week, and that's why he's got the big knot on his head right now, Jeff Rice. He's got a lot of blood. I'm sure he's got some stitches. It's like bull riding in there.
You see, he turned his back, and he was like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, don't let him have you. Oh, wow.
That's like the old rodeo clown right there.
Somebody give that boy a barrel.
Put some face paint on him.
Second down and 1. Jones has a first down.
You know, it's interesting, though. You look at all those positive stats for the Green Bay Packers offensively. And this poor guy is trying to just piece himself back together.
He's looking for a helmet.
Oh, boy. Those guys, those umpires, they do earn their money in there. They have to step up into the fray on every single snap of the ball.
What were you saying?
Just talking about if your offense is so good, you're typically thinking, well, why aren't the Packers undefeated? And the obvious answer to that is their defense has struggled as much as their offense has been good.
Hutchinson finds his fullback out of the backfield. That's McKee. And Jason is out of bounds after a gain of 8, forced out by Barnett.
And just to follow up on that, the Packers' pass defense is arguably the worst ever that has ever gone into the playoffs. The opponent's quarterback rating is over 100, and the next closest is 92 for any team that was ever in the playoffs. They've allowed 33 touchdown passes, only 7 interceptions. That percentage is worse than every other team that ever went in the playoffs other than the 82 Oilers.
It's second down and 2. Thomas Jones. It's Mark Roman first there. And Jones lost yardage on the play. Lost 5.
And I think when you talk about that, Chris, that's really the problem for Green Bay. Yeah, they give up yards, but the big problem for them is they don't create turnovers. They're last in the National Football League with only 14 takeaways. And when you look at a defense, for instance, like the Indianapolis Colts, they would say, well, the Indianapolis Colts defense isn't very good, and they've got a high-powered offense, but yet the Colts do a great job of pressuring the quarterback and creating turnovers. You never see those kinds of big plays from this defense. Of course, I say that, and Darren Sharper's already got the interception return for a touchdown here today.
Under 3.5 to play in the half. Hutchinson fires into the hands of Wade, and Barnett flashed in front, the middle linebacker for the Packers.
But you really hit on the key there, Troy. This is a Packers defense that came out and tried to be a pressure team. They tried to blitz and play the man coverage and create the turnovers, and it just blew up in their face early in the season. They start the year 1-4, so they really completely abandoned that and went back to cover 2 zone like they did last week against Minnesota, and at least they've been able to stay competitive that way.
Some interesting scores are coming across, especially the Washington at home over Minnesota, 14-3. Chapman, that's good news for the Packers. He's back there, bad ankle and all, with a fair catch, and Craig Nall and company will set up inside the 15. The playoff picture looks like this. You know, the top seed, Philadelphia, the number 2 seed, Atlanta, the number 3 seed, Green Bay. We know that. Now, the number 4 team on that list, Seattle, they still have to have the right combination today to win the division, the NFC West. They have to win, and they win the division. Or if they lose and St. Louis loses, they win the NFC West, and then there are the other 2 at the moment wild card leaders.
And the only thing we really know from the wild card leaders is that if Minnesota wins, they're in. Is that right? I mean, everyone else is having to rely on some other scenario.
That includes that game at Carolina as they hand to Tony Fisher. Carolina can win and still not get into the playoffs with the right or the wrong, however you want to look at it, combination. You see the Jets have gone back in front at St. Louis. They're at the 2-minute warning there with the Jets on top. The Jets are a team, you know, we can at least look at the AFC. The Jets started out 5-0, and they need to win this final weekend to assure themselves a spot.
And that's why the best thing that happened for the Rams is playing the Jets here in Week 16 at home.
You know, the other one is Jim Haslett. How about that? He was essentially fired about a month ago and just playing out the string, and now they're looking at winning their 4th in a row. They're ahead there today, and they could still make the playoffs.
Fisher gets popped by Briggs as he gained 3. And we have a timeout coming from the Chicago Bears. So they're not packing this in, down 28-7 with 2:14 left. They spend their first timeout.
You know, one of the things I thought was interesting was all week long a lot of people talking about, well, should this team rest these starters? Should they not? And, you know, I always felt that if you had the ability to rest players, you try to do that. But really, the guys who know better than anybody are the head coaches. For instance, Mike Sherman wanted his players to come out here today and get some momentum going, knowing how important that is going into next week's game, but still have the ability to rest some of these key guys because they don't have a bye week, whereas the Atlanta Falcons last week looked terrible against the New Orleans Saints. Jim Mora decides we're going to play those starters in this week's game against Seattle, knowing that they've got the bye next week. So there's no question that these head coaches understand, let's do everything we can to prepare our team and go into the playoffs playing well.
But, you know, you have to then say, all right, what about Andy Reid in Philadelphia? Their players essentially are going to go a month without really playing in a ball game and playing all out.
Yeah, but can you blame Andy Reid for being gun-shy or a little yippy after losing Terrell Owens a couple of weeks ago?
And all the injuries he's had the last couple of years in the playoffs.
Yeah, and my point being that Andy Reid, he certainly knows better than anybody what he needs to do in order to, you know, the risk of injury, and then at the same time get his guys ready to go.
We'll be back to take your phone calls on the other side of this 2-minute warning break. It's 28-7 Green Bay.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sprint PCS Picture Mail. It's easy for football fans to shoot, send, and share their own football moments.
Is this Parents Against Kids? Parents, are you tired of your kids going over your family's wireless minutes? And kids, tired of them hassling you just for talking? Well, good news. Sprint got rid of ugly overages.
Protect your family from ugly overages. Now, 100 extra minutes only cost $5. Other plans charge at least $35, and unlimited Sprint PCS to PCS calling is included.
Now you can save your money for the cleaners.
Thank you. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
I've got incomplete beer on Edward. Attempting to rock with a beer that has less flavor. Replacing with genuine flavor, cold filtered smooth, Miller Genuine Draft. Whoa! I've also got unnecessary spandex on Edward. Too much information. Rockstar status, decline. Play beer.
Excuse me? I'm ready for my test drive. I brought my own course.
It's your last chance for Mazda's Drive-In the New Year sales event. Lease the Mazda 6, a two-time Automobile Magazine All-Star for just $199 a month. That's the 2005 Mazda 6i Sports Sedan for just $199 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at lease signing. It all ends January 3rd. Get to your Mazda dealer for a test drive now.
It's ridiculous. It's a 28-7 Green Bay lead, and they are going to punt. So Chicago will get the ball back. They have 2 timeouts remaining, and baby steps. Baby steps. That's what the Chicago Bears will try to get done here before the end of the half, and maybe offensively put a good drive together after just rattling off 7 quick points here at the start. And they've done nothing since.
Well, if they can get some points here, remember they're playing the JV in the second half. I don't want to say JV, this is backup strings for the Green Bay Packers in the second half, so they could make a comeback.
Ugly punt from Barker, and it will roll out of bounds at the 42. There's pressure by Odom as Barker kicked it, only a 36-yard punt. The Visa halftime report coming up. JV, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. I think we should put a call into Frank Caliendo and maybe have him go through the playoff scenario. Because none of us can agree on one specific point.
What character would you have him do it in?
Andy Rooney. Jones out of the backfield. Open field tackle by a new linebacker, Steve Josu. So that was a bunch of nothing, a gain of 1.
It's really hard to imagine that this game was meaningless for the Green Bay Packers with the way they played here in the first half.
And pressure Hunt. Cledius Hunt gets a sack, and Hutchinson again ends up on his back, and that's only the 2nd sack for Hunt all year.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why Mike Sherman did not start him today. He's been very unhappy with his level of play, but he does a good job here getting by him and then making the sack. And I think that some of the moves that Mike Sherman has made in this game, whether it's putting Cledius Hunt on the bench or suggesting that maybe Scott Wells could unseat Gray Rugemer at center going into the playoffs. I think part of it, Chris, was just to try to light a little fire under some of these guys.
Absolutely, and I think that's the job of the head coach. You know, so many head coaches around the league, they want to treat their players with such respect, but you have to continually motivate these guys. At this point in the year, you're tired, you're beat up, and if all of a sudden you look out there and Cledius Hunt isn't playing well, sit him on the bench in a meaningless game, and you see the results. He comes back, makes a quick move, gets a sack.
Mark Bulger just threw an interception in the end zone for the Rams. 10-7, the Jets lead in St. Louis. Another sack, Cullen Jenkins. He has 4.5, and it is a sack fest for this Green Bay front. Under pressure all day, Chad Hutchinson. First it was Corey Williams. KGB got one. Roman on a safety blitz. They weren't finished. Cledius Hunt, and then on the next play it's Cullen Jenkins.
Well, we talked about it coming in, how this was an opportunity for this Green Bay Packer defense to develop some type of confidence. And I can tell you from a player's perspective, even though they're going up against a very bad offensive football team in the Chicago Bears, confidence is such a fragile thing. You can lose it very quickly, but you can also get it back very quickly. And it doesn't matter who the opponent is. And I don't know that Green Bay could have gone up against a better offensive unit in order for them to try to get some of that confidence and momentum going into the playoffs.
I'll bet you that's the first time the word better and Bears offense has ever been used in the same sentence this year. Just a guess.
How about Green Bay spending their final timeout? They're not content. They're not happy. Line drive punt. Chapman will let it bounce and take it. Got it across the 25 to the 26. Nate Vasher on the tackle.
Boy, you really have to begin to wonder what the Bears are going to do with their offensive line, their offense in general. It just seems like they have so many things they have to fix. This offensive line's had a bad season. The wide receivers haven't played well. They need quarterbacks. Probably the only thing they're happy with so far this season is the play of Thomas Jones at running back.
And I think even Rex Grossman, I mean, they talk about him like he's definitely the answer, and maybe he is, but even Rex Grossman has only played 6 games in 2 years. I'm not so sure they really know for certain what they have with him.
Now has it tipped at the line, and it falls incomplete.
You know what's going to be really tough for the Chicago Bears is for them to sign a top-level free agent. Let's say Kurt Warner, just for the sake of using an example. They are going to have to tell Kurt Warner that he is coming in to compete for the job. And up till this point, we've always got the feeling that Rex Grossman was the guy, but unless you throw that competition open, they're not going to get one of those top-level guys.
Another guy, Hasselbeck, is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. Holcomb with Cleveland will be unrestricted at the end of the year. And Warner is a name that's come up around here in Chicago. Fisher on the carry. And with under a minute to go, now we're going to have a timeout by Chicago.
Well, we get a chance to look at Craig Nall and him getting some valuable playing time. And, you know, we take for granted so often the fact that Brett Favre stays healthy and they haven't had to rely on a backup player coming in off the bench and helping their football team win. But you never know when that may happen. So the fact that you do get a chance for Craig to come into this game and play, and if he is called upon when they move into the playoffs, this time that he's playing now will certainly serve him well.
And I asked a question of Mike Sherman. You know, he's the head coach and general manager. How you go into this game, are you excited to see, as the general manager, some of the backups playing? He said everything we do in the game tomorrow, meaning today, will be with an eye on the playoffs. Mini camp is for next year. The draft, training camp, that's all for next season. And as a GM, I'm looking for the first weekend of the playoffs.
And I like the way he answered that. I would expect nothing less than that because they've got a lot of football left to play this year.
Now just going to take it himself. And Craig is about a yard shy of a first down. And with 43 seconds and counting left, each team is out of timeouts. So we will have a punt coming from Barker. There are 27 seconds left on the play clock, and right now about a 4 or 5 second differential.
And that's a shot there of Darrell Bevell, the quarterback coach. And Craig Nall was talking about him and saying how much he's helped him with his development. Craig Nall's had a complete overhaul as far as his mechanics, the way he holds the ball, the way he throws the ball, and he credits Darrell Bevell for helping him make those changes.
Nice air traffic controller with those 2 headsets on.
The Corners looking for a little spark at the end of the half, and he's going to at least try it again. The half will end on that spirited punt return by R.W. McQuarters. A return of 11 yards. So Brett Favre and this Green Bay offense, which really played well after struggling the first couple of series, will head off and go into the locker room. I think, guys, that Green Bay has to be pretty pleased in the end with how they played the first half.
Well, I don't think there's any way that Mike Sherman could have drawn it up any better. I mean, he wanted to come out fast. He wanted to play well. They put up 28 points on the board. The defense did some good things. Brett Favre looked sharp. Yeah, very impressive first half.
And for the Chicago Bears, honestly, it could not have gone any worse. They were looking for something to carry a little momentum into next year, trying to sweep the Green Bay Packers, and the Green Bay Packers said, I don't think so.
Well, Lovie Smith called this the Chicago Bears Super Bowl. We can only hope on February 6th that Super Bowl 39 will be a little tighter, as Fox Sports will be down in Jacksonville.
I had a couple of Super Bowls go that same way for me, too.
28-7 at the half. And on a chilly day in Chicago, not cold, chilly, here on the 2nd of January, I can officially wish you all a Happy New Year. I'm out of things to say. I really hope the Visa halftime report's coming up shortly.
Daytona 500 returns in HD this February on Fox.
Introducing the new Chevy Silverado half-ton crew cab. It's got more of what you need. More standard horsepower and more torque than Ford F-150 Super Crew or Dodge 1500 Quad Cab. Now qualified lessees can lease an 05 Silverado crew cab four-wheel drive for around $339 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important lease details. Chevy. Turn the key. Start a revolution. See your select Heartland Chevy dealers today.
Talk to Terry, okay? As you know, I'm about to sign a 5-year extension of my contract, and I couldn't be happier about it.
You just got dropped.
I got dropped by these losers? What, you think I want to be a weasel? You think I want to be a weasel or a badger, whatever that thing is? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You, and you, and you. Your whole team is a joke. Coach. What?
I mean, your call just got dropped. Oh.
Switch to Alltel and get a wireless network that actually works.
He's got the paper. He's looking it over. He sees the coupon for 11% savings on everything at Menards. He's out of his chair and headed for the door.
Wow, look at that spin move as he gets his coat.
He's at the store. He's heading for 11% savings on power tools, faucets, lumber, paint, and more.
This guy's on fire. Look at him go. There's no stopping him.
He's at the goal with the 11% savings on everything at Menards.
Hyundai owners have known the secret for years. Do you? Hi, I'm Jason Vance from Ken Vance Motors. Not only does Hyundai offer America's best warranty, but now there's even one more reason to enjoy the value and quality of a Hyundai from Ken Vance Motors. The midsize Sonata continues to maintain its legion of loyal drivers. And that loyalty is justified after Sonata received top ranking in a National Quality Award based on results from actual Hyundai owners. When you drive a Hyundai, you win. Ken Vance Motors, on the web and at the intersection of Highway 93 and I-94 in Eau Claire.
Happy New Year from Fox 2548.
28-7 Green Bay at the half. Who says this is a meaningless weekend for football in Chicago at Soldier Field? Look at this. It's a battle of the mascots with some kids mixed in. The wide world of sports is going on here. Green Bay having fun at the Bears' expense. The second half is coming up. Visa halftime is coming your way. Stay tuned for that. I'll fill you in on who wins this game at the start of the second half.
Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
A gorgeous mansion, a beautiful woman, and 8 charming men. You think you've seen it before.
I think you may be my dad.
Trust us, you haven't.
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
A Fox television event. One of them is her long-lost dad.
I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old.
But can she figure out who he is?
Oh, God, only you guys are my dad.
Who's Your Daddy? A 90-minute Fox special at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
Paris and Nicole are back. And this time, they're the business world's worst nightmare. They're interns
If you just put water in coffee, does it work?
from a Wall Street firm
Hi, we're taking lunch orders.
to a busy airline
And you can sit in the laboratory for half price.
to a funeral home.
So which one of you is planning to die?
This time, they mean business. The Simple Life Interns coming soon to Fox.
The next pick at the United Way Draft belongs to the food bank.
We select Brian Urlacher.
Now, we need a ruling because Urlacher was already selected by the Home Restoration Program. Erica.
Okay, well, I just spoke to the United Way, and Urlacher is allowed to simultaneously volunteer.
So how does Brian Urlacher get drafted twice? Well, he's got a big heart, and he's really devoted to the Chicago community.
The Toy Drive picks next, and word is they're also looking at Urlacher.
We're going with Urlacher.
Get involved in your community. It's what matters.
The Visa Halftime Report is brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
All right, as we welcome those of you watching Green Bay and Chicago, the Green Bay Packers comfortably ahead 28-7. The Packers have already locked up the North. As we take a look at Brett Favre doing the job there to tight end Bubba Franks, 17-yard strike. Come back again and keep it going. This one to William Henderson, a 38-yard touchdown strike, TV.
All right, then Henson going through his progression, but finds a wide open Darren Sharper. Interception return of 43 yards for the touchdown. Green Bay now with Nolan at quarterback all over the Bears. Minnesota up to Washington. Culpepper got to have a big game out of you guys, but the guy that's having a big game, Ramsey to the rookie from Utah State, Chris Cooley. Little option route. There it is. The H-back, a 6-yard score, 7-0. Play action. Then Ramsey to Robert Royal. 4-yard strike. 14-3 Washington over Minnesota. Saints. Oh, man, up to Carolina. Carolina and the Saints desperately need to win. Carl Hankton and Mel Mitchell of the Saints mix it up. Mitchell then into the face of Jim Haslett. Hey, Jim Haslett, this guy's no pusher out. Be careful there, young man. Kicked you in the head. You got it. You got it. And then it's the Deuce Man. Saints, awfully impressive. Have played so well the last 6 weeks of the season. Deuce McAllister breaks off right tackle, takes it 71 yards, his longest run of the season. This led to an Aaron Stecker touchdown at 7-0 Saints. And then Panthers threatening. Jake Delhomme then stripped of the ball by Charles Grant, recovered by Will Smith. It is still 7-3 now. New Orleans over Carolina. And then the Deuce Man, Deuce McAllister from 1 yard out. It's 14-3. Both teams desperate for a lead. Saints on top of Carolina. Jets traveling to St. Louis. Mark Bulger hoping to have a big day. Bulger steps up, pumps left to get the safety out of the way. Post corner out. There it is to Isaac Bruce, a 27-yard touchdown, 7-3 Rams over the Jets. And then Pennington, play action out of the backfield to Chris Baker, 8-yard score. It's 10-7. And then Bulger is picked off into the end zone. Going back. Got bracket coverage on the receiver, picked off by Eric Coleman. Then Bulger, just moments later, sets up, looks right, steps, good pass protection. Matter of fact, that's great pass protection. 44-yard strike to Terry Holt, and it is the Rams on top of the Jets, 14-10. All right, Patriots and 49ers all knotted at 7. Patriots starters were in for quite a bit in that first half. Titans and the Lions, 14-10 there. Neither one of the squads have much to play for. The Steelers with Roethlisberger on the bench ahead of the Bills. Bills, we know, need a victory and some help. The Ravens essentially need a miracle as well, but they're up by 13. Eagles have already wrapped up things in the NFC, trailing the Bengals 14-0 there.
Texans looking to try to complete their first non-losing season in franchise history. As we talk a little bit about Green Bay as they head to the postseason, talk about how they look, big boy.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, let's not forget, this is a Chicago team that beat Green Bay earlier in the year, up in Green Bay, sent that team into a downward spiral. They haven't forgotten that. This kid Nall can throw the ball pretty darn well. Green Bay had a big win last week in Minnesota. This is a game they needed to win, and they needed to win convincingly to send them into the playoffs with the right frame of mind.
All of Brett Favre's backups, play well.
They do.
Nall's play
They do.
They must coach quarterbacks pretty good. As opposed to the other side, let's see, Hutchinson struggling a little bit. And you know what? Jeff George on the sideline just chomping at the bit, wanting to get in.
Hey, you know what? I'm pulling for Jeff George.
He wants to get in.
I want to see
Put Jeff George in.
Let's all start it together.
Well,
We want Jeff George.
I tell you what, that's a sign of the apocalypse if you're cheering for Jeff George. I got to tell you, you are a hypocrite.
No, I'm not. I'm being honest. There's no dishonesty there.
Oh, boy. You can't wait to get him in so you can rip him.
Humbug, Howie.
You're watching Fox Sports. Available in 720p, the world's finest high-definition standard with Dolby 5.1.
This holiday season, America's hottest products are at your Chrysler dealer during the Chrysler year-end sales drive. There's versatile PT convertible, spacious Town & Country, sporty Crossfire Roadster, or get into Pacifica with a 5-star crash test rating and the highest rollover resistance rating of any SUV tested. Think of it as a safety utility vehicle. Get $1,000 holiday bonus cash for a total savings of up to $4,500, plus make no monthly payments till May. Hurry, offers end January 3rd.
Does this look like a bathroom that only total remodeling could solve? People all over the area have discovered the way to get a new bath, a new look that's safer without expensive remodeling with Bath Fitter, a beautiful custom molded one-piece seamless acrylic wall and bathtub liner that fits perfectly over the old one without disturbing walls, flooring, or plumbing. Bath Fitter also offers tub replacement showers and barrier-free showers, plus fixtures and accessories to make your bathroom safer. Call Bath Fitter for a free estimate that will be a fraction of the cost and labor of remodeling.
Hey, you big Elton John fan?
Yeah.
Well, then here's your dream ticket. You only find it at Best Buy.
Dream Ticket is Elton John's spectacular 4-disc, 4-destination concert DVD. Featuring radiant performances from around the world. Elton John's Dream Ticket can only be found at Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
Hello, I'm Dave Marquardt. If your family's thinking about buying a dependable used vehicle, you'll want to buy it from a dependable dealer. When you're not sure of the vehicle you're buying, make sure you know the dealer. It's as simple as that. At Marquardt Chevrolet, we offer only those used vehicles we feel are dependable and worth the money. What's more, we stand behind the used vehicles we sell. That's the important difference when you buy from the Used Vehicle Center at Marquardt Chevrolet.
Good job. Good job. I need touches, son. I need a punt.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. Just call 877-NFL-SHOP. For a free team catalog, go to NFL Shop on NFL.com or call 877-NFL-SHOP.
It's a 28-7 Green Bay lead, the second half. The final half of football for the season for the Chicago Bears coming up. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. Favre had a great day, ducked out of there. Hutchinson has been on his back more than he's been on his feet. Ahman Green, 4 carries, 13 yards. Jones up to 54 yards. Franks was busy early, and then there were a couple of big plays. A touchdown catch, a beauty by Javon Walker. Big play by Driver, fighting for the ball. And it was a very good first half. Henderson along, 25-yard touchdown catch. Green Bay Packers did a lot of things well in the first half after struggling the first couple of series. This is Thurman. Mike Sherman wants to get a good look at this guy returning kicks. He might be doing it next week. Thought about it inside, took it outside, and gets it out to the 30. And let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, I've had many walk and talks with Mike Sherman over the years, and I'll tell you today he was just as intense, as focused as he's always been. Had a couple of goals for the second half. He says he wants to do a better job of getting the receivers involved. He also wants to do a better job running the ball. He's also still smarting from the way the defense started the game. Joe?
All right, Pam. Yeah, that's really the only thing that obviously it jumped out at you because it happened right out of the gate. There was a breakdown in coverage with Al Harris, with Mark Roman. A big pass completion from Hutchinson to Terrell, and that was really about it for the Chicago offense. Thomas Jones has been pretty good. Stepping in front was McQuarters, who's now playing safety. He got in front of Donald Driver and nearly picked one off.
And I think that's one of the reasons why he was so upset, Mike Sherman that is, so upset about what happened there in that first possession, because Green Bay, when they've had problems, it really hasn't been so much from a physical standpoint. It's just that they've blown coverages, they've gotten lost in zones, they've turned men loose, and that's the thing they have to correct. If they're going to get beat, let them get beat by getting beat physically, but quit making the mental mistakes.
Well, they better tackle better than what they did last week, too.
Fisher on a toss. And Tony Fisher is going to be brought down. They're going to mark him just shy of the 40.
Yeah, the good news for the Green Bay Packers is they sort of reversed the trend that they've had in the last 6 games. They've had a negative 52-point differential in the first half and have been able to turn it around in the second half. And the thing that they've probably done best is the opening drive of the second half. They've had 7 touchdowns. That's best in the National Football League. So this is when they're at their very best right here.
The U-71 package is in. Troy Circler's big number 71, Kevin Berry. And to Fisher, he lowers his head, and he has a Green Bay first down.
And that was one of the things that Mike Sherman wanted to get another good look at today, because Kevin Berry has missed significant time here over the last few games, and they've invested so much into that U-71 package, and it's such a big part of what they do running the football that he wanted to be able to work it a little bit here in this last game prior to going into the playoffs. And the other part of that running game is Ahman Green and Najee Davenport. We've talked about how they've been banged up. Of course, Ahman Green's only had 4 carries here in the first half. I'd be surprised if he gets any more playing time, but boy, somehow here over the next week, they've got to get those 2 guys more healthy.
The top 2 receivers are still in there for Green Bay. Driver and Walker. Nall sprints right, throws, and right off the hands of Donald Driver. A rare drop by a guy who's been red hot, as Troy and Chris said earlier, the last few weeks.
And this is really what Donald Driver does best. Mike Sherman telling us last night, typically when the ball is away from Donald Driver's body, he always makes the play. That went a little bit behind, but the Bears defense that time just completely caught off guard. There was nobody within a 20-yard range of Donald Driver, just unable to complete the play.
Yeah, I think the reason Driver had problems with it was coming at about 50 miles an hour, and he's used to it coming at about 70 miles an hour.
Chuck style.
Couldn't catch a changeup. Tony Fisher, Hunter Hillenmeyer, Marcus Reitz, Charles Tillman, Todd Johnson, and Gary Fensick. We're all in on that tackle for Chicago.
You know, I tell you what is interesting is, you know, when you get into a game like this, and even in preseason games, a lot of the time, you know, the Brett Favres, the Ahman Greens, eventually the Donald Drivers, those type of guys, they'll go over to the sidelines and rest. But the offensive linemen, they never come out of the game. I mean, those guys, they just feel like, hey, these guys don't get hurt. They need to be in there. They need to protect the guys that are out there. But, boy, very few times do they get a chance to come out and take some plays off.
So they are really, for the most part, Green Bay getting a good full look at Craig Nall with just about every weapon Favre has, with the exception of Ahman Green. They've still got Driver in there. They've still got Javon Walker in there. They've got that very good offensive line. Ahman Green is not in there, and that's about it. So Nall is getting to drive the Maserati with all gears, and I would say so far, not too bad.
I bet you it doesn't last much longer, though. At some point, your thoughts have to move forward to the playoffs, and especially when you consider it's very likely the Packers are going to play on Saturday. You're coming into a short week as well.
Good punt by Barker in the end as it takes a Packer bounce, 43 yards. Hawthorne there to touch it down, and the Chicago offense is back to work. Hutchinson still in. Sorry, Terry. No Jeff George yet.
Sand painting is practiced by many cultures. Notice how they place the sand, one grain at a time. They've been working on this piece for over 8 days. I'm sorry, no pictures, please. Just look at the detail.
Want to get away? Now you can. Go to Southwest.com for Southwest Airlines $39 to $149 internet specials to 59 destinations nationwide. Purchased by January 16.
You are now free to move about the country. Accepting the trophy for Car and Driver's 2004 Best Luxury SUV, the Cadillac SRX Performance Utility. Car and Driver's 2004 Best Luxury SUV. Cadillac. Breakthrough.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
You would have to search far and wide in my book to find a better city than Chicago. It's got a little bit of everything. Right now, this city is looking for some offense from their Bears, and a false start will cost Chicago Bears 5 yards.
False start, illegal snap, number 57, offense, 5-yard penalty.
They get the Pro Bowler, Olin Kreutz, and Brett Favre doing a little teaching over on the sideline with Craig Nall.
What they call Nall Lazarus. He was a guy that was cut. They brought him back to the last exhibition game. He had a big game, and now here he is as Brett's backup.
That, by the way, the first penalty of the day for the Chicago Bears. So, baby steps. Thomas Jones hit the hole hard, spun away from a tackler, and ended up picking up 7 yards. This Bears team now 2 penalties shy of setting a new team record, which was set in 1948, and that's a record you want no part of. If you ask Lovie Smith about his first year as a head coach, he says, really the only way you can judge me is by our record of 5-10, and that's no good. It has not been a good first year.
Coming this way. Coming this way.
2nd down and 8. Toss to Jones. He has nowhere to go, and coming up to make the stop is Nile Diggs.
And I think when you look at the Chicago Bears and what they're doing, I mean, for Lovie Smith, in order for him to improve on what they were able to do this season, they've got to be able to address this offensive side of the ball, and they've got to be able to score some points. Defensively, it looks like they've got a pretty good nucleus of players, and they're going to continue to get better. They average less than 3 years NFL experience on that side of the ball. It's the offensive side. And yet Jerry Angelo has said, don't rule out the fact that we may draft defense in the upcoming draft. That was somewhat of a surprise.
Pass is caught by Terrell, but he is brought down immediately and short of first down yardage after picking up 9. David Terrell came up shy, couldn't catch and run it for a first down. It's 4th down, and a punt coming from Chicago.
Oh, really? Play it straight here. I thought maybe they would go for it here and try and get a little momentum back on their side, but I guess he's assuming they're going to make some mass substitutions later in the game. He'll have a better chance to score later.
Don't you just think, Troy, that when you hear and read the quote by Jerry Angelo, it sounds good, but if there's a cornerback linebacker. There's a good, speedy linebacker out there. They might take him. But realistically, there's no way they can focus on anything but the offense in the offseason. They've got so much ground to make up. They've got to put every effort they can into the offense. There are flags all over the field on that punt.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, I agree. I think that there are those clubs that would say we're going to draft the best player on the board, and that's the way they approach it going into the NFL draft.
Defense, 12 men on the field at the snap. A 5-yard penalty that results in a first down.
Antonio Chapman was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got too many. Uh-oh.
He's trying to tell Mike Sherman, and Mike Sherman was desperately trying to call a timeout, but neither one of them could get it done.
We get to see another punt from the, with the 5-yard penalty, it's first down. Hey, I'm in the ball game. Stay hot, Joe. 9:39 left in this third quarter, and with the 5-yard penalty, it's a first down for Chicago. So another look at Hutchinson and company. And Terrell makes the catch. David has a first down. The Green Bay 46.
David Terrell, I mean, he came in as a rookie, and people thought that he was going to be a big impact player for this organization. A lot like Anthony Thomas, the year that he was able to have when he came in, and yet it's just never materialized for him. And there's talk that he may not be back next year, but to release him, there's no cap benefit if they release David Terrell. And so why would you not keep him around on your ball club, although they do need to address that position?
Handoff is to Jones, who slips down, and Thomas ends up picking up 2.
Well, I think it's a little bit like the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a couple of guys that could be number 2 receivers, but not really a number 1 receiver a season ago. And maybe the same thing will be true for David Terrell. They come out and get a real speed guy, get someone that can stretch the defense, find a real top talent. He may come into his own as a number 2 guy, but he certainly hasn't been able to carry the load as a number 1 guy.
And I think to be a better player, he's just got to he got to concentrate more than he has this year.
Hutchinson has a pocket, fires, incomplete, third down coming up. But as far as comparing Chicago to a team like Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys have 2 first-round picks coming up. They've got money under the cap to use on free agents. If you ask Lovie Smith, he says there's really not a lot of free money or space to go out and really unload on free agents. Maybe we could find a good linebacker to fill in. But that flexibility isn't there.
No, and so they got to build it through the draft. And the one thing about it is they had a heck of a draft this past April and had a lot of these rookies contributing, and they're going to need the same kind of draft this year.
On 3rd down and 8, they hand off to Jones, and Jones is to the 39. That's it. Bring up 4th down.
You're going to have to get to the point with your offense that you feel better about your passing game than that. When it's 3rd down and 8 and you're trailing like this, to believe that your passing game can pick up a first down. Maybe they just considered that 4-down territory and trying to pick up half of it. But clearly this has been an offense and a passing game that just simply hasn't gotten it done. Terry Shea knows that they have to come up with some more weapons if they're going to do it.
The crowd is in a frenzy. Going for it on 4th and 4. Setting up for a quick throw. It's Berrien. Perfect pass from Hutchinson. And Bernard Berrien has a first down inside the 22 to the 21.
Really great throw there by Chad Hutchinson. Very decisive on where he wanted to go with the football. He goes to Berry up the sideline. Berry does a good job of getting a release on Ahmad Carroll. Ahmad Carroll, as you'll see, he tries to come up and get a little bit of a jam, but Berry just runs right around him, and a great throw by Hutchinson.
And Troy, I think it's one of the problems the Packers are going to have going into the playoffs. Ahmad Carroll is so gun-shy now about putting his hands on guys because he's got so many penalties.
Hutchinson for the corner, a flag on the coverage. There's also a separate foul back at the line of scrimmage. So there are 2 different penalties on this last play. One is clearly on pass interference on the defense.
Yeah, Joey Thomas got caught back around the goal line, and that's going to be 1st and goal depending on what happens at the line of scrimmage.
So Ron Winter will figure it out.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal formation. Offense number 75 was not covered by a wide receiver. Pass interference. Defense number 24. Those penalties offset.
Wow.
Replay. First down.
What a terrible turn of events for Chicago. Their left tackle, Colombo, just wasn't up on the line of scrimmage.
I think it's just the opposite. I think the wide receiver has to be on the line of scrimmage, because if he's not, then Colombo is an eligible receiver, so the wideout's obligation is to be up there and cover him up.
Unless he was trying to get a head start and get back into a pass set. He just wasn't up on the line. Jones, a race with Sharper. And a first and goal at the 4. Pretty good execution there by the Chicago Bears. You're going to see Chad Hutchinson. He's going to fake the pass in order to try to get the linebackers to continue to drop. Desmond Clark on the outside, the tight end, does a good job there, securing the corner to get Thomas to the outside.
Well, for all the things that the Bears have or have not done, signing Thomas Jones was a real coup this year. No one ever could have anticipated that he really could develop into this type of player, but he looks like he has star potential.
Jones gets it just inside the 1. The guy that they're about to say goodbye to is Anthony Thomas. In fact, he knows he is gone. He'll be a free agent at the end of the year, and you're talking about a guy in 2001 that was the offensive rookie of the year as opposed to LaDainian Tomlinson. And they pretty much told him 3 weeks ago that he would not be back. I mean, and when he had his opportunities this year, Joe, he actually played pretty well. Second down and goal. They hand it to Thomas Jones, and Thomas Jones is in for the touchdown. And since that first possession and that lightning fast start for Chicago, they're finally back into the end zone and have a chance to cut it to a 14-point game.
And let's give credit where credit is due. That was essentially the #1 defense across the board out there for the Green Bay Packers, and the Bears were able to take it down the field.
Well, that's why Mike Sherman cannot be pleased with what he's watching right now. He's trying to eliminate the penalties. It happened on this drive, and then they run the ball right down their throat there at the end in order to get the touchdown. The word meaningless is not bouncing around the mind of Mike Sherman right now. It's a 28-14 game. Thomas Jones has been impressive today. Up and over and in, 28-14.
Between form and function just became razor thin. The Motorola Razr, only from the new Singular. The new Singular, raising the bar.
Johnny Calvo is the city's toughest ex-con.
Tweakers jumped him. He killed 3 of them with his bare hands.
Now, he's trying to start a new life by helping others with theirs.
Tell me where she is.
This January, the acclaimed producers of ER bring their unique vision to the mean streets of New York City.
Hey, man, are these the good guys?
No, they're the other bad guys.
Are there any good guys involved in this?
Just us.
Great.
Johnny Zero premieres Friday, January 14th on Fox.
2 Super Bowl League MVP, a member of the 2,000-yard club.
And it's pronounced Terrell.
Terrell Davis joins an all-pro lineup on NFL Total Access.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Singular, raising the bar.
Thomas Jones is in, a 1-yard touchdown run. Remember, all that set up by the penalty for too many men on the field on the punt. So that won't sit well with Mike Sherman either. Thurman on the return. And Andre crosses the 25. He is brought down
just across the 27 by Adrian Peterson. Craig Nall and the Green Bay offense back to work. They lead it by 14.
Hi, this is Mr. Foreman. If you ever give my daughter an alcoholic beverage, I will hunt you down and neuter you. Dinner's ready.
A daughter in college.
I got you some pepper spray.
Oh, how sweet.
A baby on the way. But it's never too late.
How old are you? 26 years old. And you're my new boss.
To be surprised.
How old are you?
I'm 51.
Wow. It's like a year older than my dad, so that's weird.
Yeah.
In Good Company. Rated PG-13. In theaters January 14.
Introducing the new commotion in the Chevy family. The Cobalt Coupe, Sedan, and SS Supercharged. Chevy Cobalt, an American revolution.
Introducing the Extra Points credit card from the National Football League. It's a new way to live your NFL dreams.
This way. 2 defensive linemen.
You can get closer to your team and the game you love. And turn your dreams into reality. NFL Extra Points. Log on to NFL.com/Extra Points today and find out how to make your NFL dreams come true.
Once a year, we get to experience the thrill of a lifetime. And once a year, we get to turn an unknown.
You are the sexiest voice ever.
Into a superstar.
You think you've seen the best? You haven't seen anything yet.
American Idol premieres Tuesday, January 18th on Fox.
For the Chicago Bears today, their first drive in the first half went 76 yards for a touchdown. Their first drive of the second half, 78 yards for a touchdown. All other drives, 36 yards against this Green Bay defense. Penalty flag on the play as Fisher is trying to make the most out of it. And Tony Fisher lost 2 on the play. Charles Tillman on the stop, and we'll check the foul. It appears to be against Green Bay.
Illegal motion. Offense number 84 is moving forward at the snap. That penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
Second down and 12 as you look at some important scores across the NFC. The Jets get a quick touchdown. They're now trailing only by 4 at St. Louis. New Orleans leading 14-3 at Carolina, and Minnesota has closed it down to a 4-point game. Pass complete. Javon Walker with the catch. And Walker has a first down. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, it's been pretty well documented the tragic couple of years Brett Favre and his family have had to endure. Currently, his wife, Deanna, is battling breast cancer. In fact, she'll have her final chemo session tomorrow. Speaking to Brett before the game, he mentioned the lovely surprise note he found in his suitcase this weekend. The gist of it, how much Deanna Favre believes 2005 will be a much better year for their family, and that no matter what, they can get through anything together. And we certainly wish Deanna the best. She's certainly been a trooper throughout this latest ordeal. Joe?
Yeah, it comes from all of us with Fox, and I guess when it's said to any member of the Favre family these days, Happy New Year, it has a little different meaning to the Favres than it does to some others. They hope it will be a happy 2005, and we wish nothing but the best for that family.
And of course, Brett shaved his head and tribute to his wife going through the chemotherapy, and it is a very tough ordeal. If you've ever had a family member going through chemotherapy, you know that it is a family that goes through chemotherapy and not just one person.
Second down and 8 here for Craig Nall. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And this will cost Green Bay another 5. False start.
Yeah, they got Kevin Barry there, and that's what...
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
that's some of the things. Larry Bechtel, the offensive line coach, he's not happy about it at all. And, you know, that's one of the things that happens, though, when you get a new quarterback in there, and the cadence are never going to be quite the same, and he's going to be a little different from what Brett Favre is, and you're going to have some of those types of things. But Larry Bechtel, he doesn't want to hear about it.
Barry's still in the lineup. Second down at 13. Now Byers got Javon Walker wide open. Walker had to wait for it a bit, but it's a first down for Green Bay at the 21. Charles Tillman eventually got back to make the stop, and the Packer faithful hope that Walker pops up. He's still flat on his back at the 20.
Man, you want to talk about an absolute worst-case scenario right now for the Green Bay Packers.
He banged his head.
Javon Walker down on that field.
He banged his head when he came down, and his head slammed against the grass here at Soldier Field. So they're looking up at the head and neck area.
You know, it's so interesting. I was just sitting there thinking that how much longer are these starting wide receivers going to be in this ball game and come up with a big play, and then he gets dinged.
The biggest big play threat for the Green Bay Packers, with his head slamming down against the grass here at Soldier Field. They look at him. We'll take a break here in Chicago.
Introducing the new commotion in the Chevy family. The Cobalt Coupe, Sedan, and SS Supercharged. Chevy Cobalt, an American revolution.
Pizza Hut's having a national pizza sale.
Buy any pizza at regular price and get any medium pizza for just $5 more.
I'll get a supreme
Regular price
and a pepperoni.
$5 buckaroos.
Meat lovers.
$5
Peppers and onions.
$5
Sausage.
Veggie lovers. $5 Maximus.
Pizza Hut's national pizza sale. Buy any pizza at regular price and get up to 5 medium pizzas for just $5 each. The sale's so good you gotta go for more.
Hope the kids are hungry.
Gather around the good stuff.
I'm Roy Williams of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm Stacy from Canton.
I'm Joey Harrington of the Detroit Lions.
I'm Kurt Allsted from Chester.
I volunteer to improve my neighborhood.
I donate my time to help kids.
And I donate food.
I help teach students about the importance of education and staying in school.
We're pitching in and making a difference.
Play 60 Minutes and you can win the Super Bowl. Volunteer 60 Minutes and you can make a difference in your community. Visit jointheteam.com.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Chevy, an American revolution, supercharged for 2005. By American Express. By Pizza Hut, gather round the good stuff. And by Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller.
Handoff is to Tony Fisher. Tries the right side. Packer Nation can exhale, as during the break, Javon Walker got up and was able to walk off the field under his own power, but we have to assume that he was knocked out after banging his head against the grass.
Saw the football come to rest basically on his face mask there. And that was basically the same kind of play that Brett Favre got knocked out on earlier this season.
And even with that, Driver's still in the game. Franks with Nall under center, and that good offensive line still out there. Nall's going to throw for the end zone, and Driver incomplete. There was pressure by Reese, and Jerry Azuma comes up pleading his case, saying he was interfered with by Driver.
Yeah, they're saying that Donald Driver pushed Azuma and kept him from being able to pull that ball in for the interception, and Donald Driver going to the corner. Greg Nall just trying to give him a chance to make a play. He definitely got his hands on his back.
I don't think Chicago Bears fans are going to be too happy with the officials to close this season. Of course, last week, Bernard Berrien had one stolen from him, what looked like the game-winning touchdown pass, and then Azuma, no question about it, offensive pass interference right there.
So it's 3rd down and 7. Nall sprints left. What a
blocked by Rivera. Rivera got out and threw a block on Alex Brown. Alex Brown was salivating coming after Hall, and then Brown was knocked to his backside. Yeah, you're going to see him pull the right guard, and that's why he's going to the Pro Bowl again this year. And that's his coming on a blitz with Brown behind him, and it was Rivera saving Nall a bruise. You know, this offensive line, if you want to play the finesse game and pass protection, you want to play the power game or the pulling game, the screens, I mean, they're so athletic and so strong and powerful. They can do just about anything you want them to do. Berry in the lineup for Green Bay, and it's Fisher up the middle.
And you know what's really interesting about this offensive line is they have some decisions they're going to have to make this offseason. Marco Rivera, Mike Wall, both outstanding guards, really about as good as you can find. Rivera constantly in the Pro Bowl, I think the last 3 years, and they think Mike Wall has ever been as good. But Wall may actually be the guy they retain just because he's a little younger and a little more athletic, that one of them has to go.
Talked about the battle between Rugemer and Wells, whether it's a manufactured battle by Mike Sherman or not. Wells is in his center on 2nd down and goal for Green Bay. Sprints right, throws back across the middle, and it's tipped. Incomplete, and Briggs, who's had a very good year, got his hand in the way of that pass intended for Ben Steele. And it looked like Craig Nall had a shot at that one, but he just took a little bit something off his fastball. Ben Steele there on the back line. Nall does a good job of seeing him. I don't know that he had much of a chance. Maybe if Ben Steele had pulled up just a little bit earlier, he'd gotten some separation there from Lance Briggs.
And how athletic is Lance Briggs? They had a monster game last week, 12 tackles, an interception, return for a touchdown, and they all talk about Urlacher, but this kid right here is tremendous.
3rd down and goal. Blitz coming from Chicago, now flips it for Chapman, incomplete. Vasher. Nate Vasher, the rookie, made the play. And that'll bring up 4th and goal, and the field goal unit will come on for Green Bay. Well, Nate Vasher is one of those rookies that's contributed this season that I was talking about earlier. He's a 4th-round pick out of Texas and actually leads the team in limited playing time with interceptions. He's got great ball skills. Does a good job coming back on that one on Chapman, keeping him from getting the touchdown.
And he's a big reason why R.W. McQuarters may not be back.
21-yard try by Longwell is drilled. And that makes it 31-14. Packers add to their lead. Javon Walker with his head hanging after the injury.
Love this spot.
Pop? Yeah, son? There's something I gotta tell you. What?
I've got unbeerman-like conduct on Timmy. Giving Dad a beer with less taste, that's a loss of respect. Inheritance, decline. Replacing with great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. Half the carbon, Bud Light. We've also got unoriginal tattoo on Timmy, tribal armband design, attempting to fit in. Play beer.
Miller. Good call.
Not in our house, buddy. Not today.
Oh, no! This ain't going down! Not today, Daddy, now!
Not today. Not tomorrow.
Nobody coming in here! Not in our house!
Visa, official card of the NFL and the house of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, where they accept no other card to get you in. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You may be moving away, but this is not a retreat, it's an attack. You see the angles, the crisscrossing patterns. You see the intersections of pathways and men. You see that space opening up. It shouldn't be there, but it is. And you do just what you always do. You let it go. The playoffs are where moments are made. What's next?
We have terrorists on U.S. soil. The television event of the season is almost here.
America has enemies.
2 nights, 4 hours, 24. The 2-night premiere event begins next Sunday on Fox.
They changed Longwell's field goal to officially a 20-yarder. Javon Walker, the 42-yard catch, then went down.
We'll have a report from Pam coming up on Walker, and I guess the only question is, if it's a concussion or something in that category, will something like that linger? The game potentially coming up on Saturday for Green Bay, the wild card round of the playoffs. Azuma with a penalty flag coming in at the end of the play. Azuma is out to the 26. 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And this appears to be against Chicago.
During the return, holding. Number 29 of the return team penalized half the distance to the goal.
So they get Adrian Peterson on a hold. Brett Favre's first touchdown pass was to Bubba Franks. Then he hit William Henderson as fullback. He got into the end zone for his third of the year. Darren Sharper with his 7th career defensive touchdown. Then the catch by Javon Walker, his head slamming into the turf here at Soldier Field. He was able to get up and walk off, but I'm sure he's not coming back today. And a good catch there over the middle by Bernard Berrien. Pass was behind him, good for 5, and let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, as you mentioned, Javon Walker banged the back of his head. As you noted, he seems very lucid as he talks to trainers on the sideline. It is the coach's decision, I'm being told, that Javon Walker will not play anymore in this ball game. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thanks. We are finished now with 3 quarters of play. We'll go down to the other end of the field, and the Chicago Bears team has 1 quarter of play left, while the Packers, who lead it by 17, have the playoffs coming up next weekend. 31-14 after 3. The NFL on Fox will continue after this from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
The Chevy Holiday Red Tag Sale. Your participating local Chevy dealer has red tags select vehicles with incredible deals. Get big cash back with GMAC financing on select red tag vehicles. Hurry, offer ends January 3rd. The Chevy Holiday Red Tag Sale. See red, save green. See your select Heartland Chevy dealers today.
With things the way they are, my 6th graders are thinking about energy these days. Asking good questions. I tell them we're lucky we're part of an electric co-op. Our local co-op gives us more than reliable electricity. There's safety demonstrations, energy conservation ideas. That's how the people have the power.
And we shine as one.
This holiday season, America's hottest products are at your Chrysler dealer during the Chrysler year-end sales drive. There's the versatile PT convertible, protective Pacifica, sporty Crossfire Roadster, or get into town and country with 2 rows of fold flat stow and go seating and the government's 5-star side impact crash test rating. Now get combined holiday bonus cash for a total savings of up to $7,800 plus make no monthly payments till May. Hurry, offer ends January 3rd.
Fox 25-48, your station for Super Bowl 39.
Doing a great job this week, as they do every week. 31-14. Start the 4th quarter, and the Bears toss to Thomas Jones. Jones is out near the 20. What's going on around the NFL? Let's check in for a game-breaking JB.
All right, Joe Buck, we know that the Vikings with the win in their end. Play action, Dante Culpepper here in the 3rd, hooking up with Randy Moss. That touchdown helped to narrow the gap, 14-10 to Washington, just starting the 4th. Take a look at this. Take it home. Look at this. Great catch by Musa Muhammad, league-leading 15 touchdown reception. That helped to narrow the gap there. 14-10 to the Saints in the 3rd. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thanks.
Boy, Muhsin Muhammad has just been phenomenal this season.
And he's as big a reason as anybody that the Carolina Panthers, after a 1-7 start, have a realistic shot at making the playoffs with a win today.
Well, you think about it. I mean, Steve Smith became their go-to guy last year in their run to the Super Bowl. A few years back, Musa Muhammad, he had over 100 receptions, you know, was a Pro Bowl player, and he's showing that he's more than just a blocker and a possession guy. He's also become their big play receiver this season.
I would say free agency will hit at a good time for Musa Muhammad. On second down, Hutchinson looking to his left the entire way, and he hits Bobby Wade. He's wrapped up by Al Harris. So I think, guys, what we thought coming in is pretty much played out. Maybe you could say the Green Bay offense played a little longer than some might have thought, but this Green Bay defense, you still see Al Harris and Diggs and the defensive line and Barnett. This is a defense that's still trying to gain some confidence going into the playoffs.
And I think that's exactly the point, is that this team wants to play a full game and look good, even though it is against a fairly inept offense, at least trying to gain some measure of confidence going into the playoffs.
Third down and 7. Hutchinson had all day and finds Wade for a first down.
You know, I think one of the things we've seen from Chad Hutchinson, not only in this game but in the other games that he's played, is when he gets some time to throw the football, he's generally pretty effective, which is true about any quarterback at this level. And he steps in there and he knows where he wants to go with it. And, you know, again, you've got a guy running over the middle of the ball, and Bobby Wade open against this secondary for the Packers.
That is the first third down conversion to a first down all day for Chicago. Hutchinson running for his life. Cole was chasing him, and the pass is caught by Wade. Barnett flashed in front, and Wade still had enough concentration to haul it in.
You know, I know Bobby Wade is not a top physical talent, but I have always really enjoyed watching him play. When the quarterback is scrambling, so many receivers act like they don't care. Watch Bobby Wade. He is going to work hard to at least try and come back and help his quarterback a little bit, and Nick Barnett just barely missed that one.
And the only one more surprised that he caught it other than Bobby Wade was Chad Hutchinson. I mean, I don't know how that ball got in there.
Second down and 3. Great work by Wade to keep his feet in. 21-20, St. Louis out in front of the Jets. Yeah, it's not going to work. Thomas Jones and the Packers were all over it. Niall Diggs, the linebacker, sniffed it out.
You know, Chris, you talked about the Green Bay Packer defense a little bit, and I know a few weeks back in talking with Brett Favre and asked him where this team ranked with the Super Bowl teams that he was a part of, and he really felt that this team was more talented than those Super Bowl teams, but they weren't as experienced. And I think he had to have been talking more about the offensive side of the ball, because those teams that went to the Super Bowl with Brett Favre at quarterback were awfully good on defense.
I have to go all the way back to Joe's opening comments about the locker that they set for Reggie White in there. Maybe then they would have been.
On third down, the pass incomplete. They're ruling that a pass. Cledius Hunt, who I'm sure got a wake-up call when he was yanked out of the starting lineup, was there for Green Bay.
Yeah, whatever message Mike Sherman was trying to send to Cledius Hunt, consider it delivered, because he's already gotten a sack today and now making a play here, and he's shown spurts over the course of his career. Of course, he signed a contract a year ago. They saw a lot of promise in him, and he shows spurts, but he just has not been consistent on a weekly basis.
Maynard is going to flip it for Peterson with coverage downfield by Thomas. There's no flag.
I don't know
Green
how.
Bay will take over.
I don't know how you don't throw a flag on that one.
I agree, Chris.
You know, the one thing, though, is they have had, isn't there some kind of rule in there that on fake punts, you can't just, the pass interference call is a little bit different, because teams used to just chunk it up down the field when the Gunners were getting chunked down the field?
I'll let you
apparently.
walk out on that.
Maybe there is, because otherwise that sure would look like pass interference to me.
Now the officials are going to get together. There's no flag on the field. The Green Bay offense is out there. The Chicago defense is out there, yet the officiating crew is huddling.
Yeah, Chris, I think that if the punter's still within the pocket, then he's like a passer. So now the passing rules apply, and you can still have pass interference. And that's certainly, you know, as Joe said, there's no flag on the field. I don't know if now they can say it was pass interference, but certainly was pass interference from where I'm looking on Joey Thomas.
I can just remember they had some issues because teams were constantly, and now the flag does come out.
So they just threw the flag, and the Bears celebrate what they think will be a pass interference and a first down. So in the effort to get this play right, the officials got together and just one of them dumped the flag out of their pocket, and we'll get the official word from Ron Winter, who is still getting or giving an explanation in that huddle. Here comes the call.
The play started in punt formation. Number 31, the widest receiver, went to the inside. The receiver, number 32, went to the outside. Therefore, there's pass interference, defense, penalized at the spot of the foul, and a first down.
It was actually Adrian Peterson who was the intended receiver, number 29, and Mike Sherman saying, hey, that's great. How about if somebody comes over and tells me what the heck you guys are talking about?
Well, they had a strange way of going about and making the call, but eventually they got it right, which is the important thing.
Because the interference actually did not occur on the gunner. It was the inside receiver, and there are rules that apply to the gunner versus the inside receiver, but I'd be darned if I could tell you exactly what they are.
So in essence, what they're saying is the interference didn't occur on Adrian Peterson down the sideline. It occurred on the receiver who was cutting across the middle. Is that what you're saying?
Something like that.
No, I think that there are...
Well, then he just called the wrong number, because the guy who was interfered with clearly down the sideline was number 29, Adrian Peterson, and it was on Joey Thomas, who was covering Peterson.
But because he was an inside receiver and not one of the outside gunners, there are some kind of different rules that apply to that situation.
Well, good. That's something that we can read about leading into the playoffs next week.
Yeah, who's on first?
Chris, I nominate you. Toss to Jones, running left, and with a fresh chance. It is a 10-yard scamper by Thomas Jones. It's a game break, and let's go out to JB.
Hey, Joe, we know the Saints need a win and some help to get into the postseason. Take a look at this bullet here. Two big pass plays to Joe Horn. This is the second one, 44 yards there. That expanded the lead over Carolina, 21-10 late in the third. Rams and Jets. Tough ball game indeed. Still nip and tuck. Rams nursing just a 1-point lead back to Joe Buck.
It's like watching an election. Everything changing moment to moment as Hutchinson fires and he hits McKee, the fullback, and that's good for a first down. Just to elaborate on what JB said, New Orleans gets in with a win and a St. Louis loss, and they're leading by a point right now, or a win and a Seattle win and a Minnesota win. So that's the situation for New Orleans as they add to their lead at Carolina. And that, forget the other stuff, it's impressive, the more so what New Orleans is doing at Carolina.
Yeah, the first thing they have to do is beat Carolina, and they're doing it against a pretty good team.
Handoff is to Thomas Jones, and he ran into a wall, no gain.
And the crowd doesn't like the decision to run the football here, trailing by a bunch as time ticks down. They have been at least a little bit patient with this offense here today, but for Terry Shea and company, there's no question that they have to find some playmakers. And Troy, I guess the other question is, does Terry Shea stay on as the offensive coordinator? That's something that's certainly going to be debated as well.
Second down and 10 here. Play action from Hutchinson. Over the middle, he's got Thomas Jones, and there's a penalty flag at the end of the play. Looks like it's in the area of a hold. Ron Winter has been busy in this second half. 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So they get Terrence Metcalf, part of this offensive line, which has just shifted pieces all around the place all year long. They've had 6 different starting lineups on their offensive line.
Yeah, and that's why it's really hard to evaluate exactly what Terry Shea has done as the offensive coordinator for this team, not only with the offensive line, but certainly, when you're playing 4 different quarterbacks over the course of a season, that makes it difficult. They don't have any explosive players outside of Thomas Jones, and it wouldn't matter if you had Bill Walsh coordinating this offense right now. He wouldn't be able to do much with it.
So a new team record for the Chicago Bears, one they didn't have set as one of their goals heading out of training camp.
You combine that with most sacks ever by a Bears team. Not very good.
2nd down and 20. And the pass is gunned into the gut of Desmond Clark, and he can't hang on. 3rd and 20. And just one other point about that score. We showed you the 1-point lead for St. Louis. They need to win and then get help with either a Minnesota loss or a Seattle loss up at home later today against Atlanta to get in. 3rd down and 20. You see Washington with that 4-point lead they're maintaining over Minnesota.
I'm not sure the people in Minnesota could take another collapse like what they saw last year, but it could potentially happen here.
6-0 start last year, they don't get in. 5-1 start this year, and they may not get in. Hutchinson fires, but way short of 1st down yardage as Clark, and bring up 4th down. Only a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that these fans have become so frustrated with and it's not just isolated to this year with Terry Shea. It was also with Stoops, John Shoops, when he was the offensive coordinator here. They don't do anything to push the ball down the field. I mean, they're constantly throwing the underneath passes, not forcing anything down deep, and eventually these defensive players start clamping down on you, and now you get into these 4th and longs.
4th down and 13 here. Good jump by KGB off the line, and he comes away with a sack. They are going to say that Hutchinson was brought down by Kabir Bajabiamila. That's his 2nd of the day, and did he fly off the line of scrimmage at the snap?
And it's significant now for him because he has 4 consecutive seasons with at least 10 sacks. Another big year. Very consistent player.
Up to 11.5. The 6th sack for Green Bay today.
This holiday season, it's your last chance to find the right price on the Volkswagen that's right for you.
I love it.
Right now, during our year-end sales drive, get great deals on 2005 Jettas.
Hey, big Elton John fan?
Yeah.
Well, then here's your dream ticket. You only find it at Best Buy.
Dream Ticket is Elton John's spectacular 4-disc, 4-destination concert DVD. Featuring radiant performances from around the world. Elton John's Dream Ticket can only be found at Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
Prophecy foretold of a place where good and evil come face to face.
What I know about the fate of this town is that the final fight is here. Darkness may be present, but so is God.
It's always the quiet rounds.
What are you doing to me?
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Best Buy, thousands of possibilities, get yours. By WebMD, redefining modern medicine. And by Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
That last Bear drive, which ended at midfield, a 14-play drive covering 41 yards and just under 8 minutes off the clock, with turning it over on downs. Look at that, Washington up 21-10 over Minnesota. Kevin Barry is now in at the regular right tackle position, and they hand to Fisher. And that poor umpire umpire, who's got a microphone on him. You could hear him react as he ended up on all fours again.
Jeff Price has had a very difficult couple of weeks.
And now getting up and limping off the field is Bubba Franks. He actually limps back into the huddle, and you can see Franks get bent over backward on the right side of the screen as the umpire ends up
We're going to have to
the turf again.
Start giving him some butt pads.
He's going to have to get in a whirlpool after the game. Getting some Epsom salts.
Tough day.
The Jets out in front of Jonathan Vilma. Interception for a touchdown. The rookie has had a great year for the Jets, and they lead now at St. Louis with the extra point coming up as Tony Fisher gets the carry on first down.
You talked about that score in Minnesota, Washington going up on them, and you know, Dante Culpepper has really had an outstanding season this year, and not many people have talked about it because of the fact that the Minnesota Vikings have not been able to win some of these big games that they've been a part of, and it's really no reflection on him. I mean, he's actually played well in most of those games. It's just been primarily the defense that's not played well, but it's unfortunate because a great year that he's had has gone unnoticed by a lot of people.
Handoff is to Fisher again. He's been busy. Ben Steele got drilled in the back of the leg.
Just so everybody understands this, the outside gunner on a punt team, you cannot have pass interference against him, but because the interference happened on an inside receiver going to the outside, there can be pass interference on him. So the interference was not here. It was not on this guy. It was on the inside receiver that came to the outside, and that's where the interference took place. You can't have interference on an inside receiver, not on an outside gunner, and quit laughing, Trey.
Well, our viewers are so much happier that you informed them.
Well, I knew there was a rule in there somewhere. I just couldn't remember it.
Third down and 3, and Tony Fisher scoots it inside the 30, and that's a Green Bay first down. Under 5.5 to play. You will rest your little head on the pillow tonight. Sleep soundly.
If the outside gunner had run a double move and then gone to the middle, but the inside guy ran the inside slant and then came back to the outside, would it be?
Would you shut up? It's a new rule about 6 years ago when all of a sudden teams used to just take the ball and throw it up to the gunner on the outside, and the guy that was on the gunner would just be jamming him the whole way down as you would on a punt return. So they made that change in the rules. But here's the bigger story right now.
We're looking at the left knee of Bubba Franks. We saw him get bent over backward about 3 plays ago. His legs were engaged. He got bent over backward. He ended up limping off the field under his own power. And now they have him on a table looking at his knee. And from what we were told, it's his left knee. They're taking both knee pads out of his pants. Timeout called here by Chicago. 31-14 Packers.
Is this parents against kids? Parents, are you tired of your kids going over your family's wireless minutes? And kids, tired of them hassling you just for talking? Well, good news. Sprint got rid of ugly overages.
Protect your family from ugly overages. Now, 100 extra minutes only cost $5. Other plans charge at least $35, and unlimited Sprint PCS to PCS calling is included.
Now you can save your money for the cleaners.
Thank you. Sprint PCS. Now that's better.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough. I'm full! Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu, featuring the half-pound beef and potato burrito with seasoned beef and golden potatoes. To keep your stomach and your wallet full, think outside the bun.
What happens when a bunch of NFL players live in one house for one season?
P. Holt, bring it on over.
Yes, sir. John Lynch, let's go, baby.
Come on, D-Max.
Give me the Chad Johnson, let's go, baby.
PG.
Flex. No,
Whoa. Thanks, you big. Come on.
I think I'm going to take the meter man over here. Hey, meter guy.
Okay. Seriously?
Lace him up.
You need a kicker?
A gorgeous mansion, a beautiful woman, and 8 charming men. You think you've seen it before.
I think you may be my dad.
Trust us, you haven't.
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
a Fox television event. One of them is her long-lost dad.
I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old.
But can she figure out who he is?
Oh, God, what are you guys? Oh, my dad.
Who's Your Daddy? A 90-minute Fox special at 8, 7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
The Green Bay Packers came in talking about trying, obviously, to get out of this game healthy. They lost Javon Walker to a little head-neck injury. Looked like he got knocked out on a play. He appears to be fine over on the sideline. Bubba Franks, on the other hand, was bent over backward and injured his left knee, and they're looking at his knee over on the sideline. The injury happens on the right side of your picture. And it goes without saying that should the Green Bay Packers lose Bubba Franks in a game of this nature, with the playoffs coming up next weekend, in a 31-14 game with 5 minutes to go in the game at Chicago, they will be kicking themselves all the way back to Green Bay about that.
Yeah, and that's one that looks like it could be serious. He was engaged in the block and then got rolled up behind, and that's how a lot of serious injuries occur. You just hope that he's okay.
Well, plus you have to consider the fact they've already lost David Martin, so they would be down to Ben Steele as their starting tight end for the playoffs. And as we were watching him on the table, he was pointing to the inside of his knee and sort of pointing in a line up and down the inside part of his knee. Seems to be walking decently.
Timeout called again by Chicago. They have only one left as Franks tries to walk it off.
Leon, Joe Buck. You guys are on in 20.
And look at Joseph, Leon always stands on the left, you know, to showcase my good side. So
I always stand on the left, and I wouldn't even worry about it. You look great.
Yeah, this is very true. Leon doesn't have a bad side, but I'm just saying, you see that dimple? It's my trademark dimple, baby.
This is my good side, too.
Look here, Joe, I hate to be the one to tell you this, man, but if that's your good side, you may want to stick to radio.
Joe Buck here with the legendary Leon.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
This holiday season, it's your last chance to find the right price on the Volkswagen that's right for you.
I love it.
Right now, during our year-end sales drive, get great deals on 2005 Touaregs.
American Idol is back, bigger and better than ever. Could this be the next Kelly Clarkson?
Last dance, last chance for love. See you in Hollywood, congratulations.
Don't miss a note.
You're going to see some of the best talent we've ever had.
American Idol premieres Tuesday, January 18th on Fox.
Paris and Nicole are back, and they're the business world's worst nightmare. Interns. From a Wall Street firm
I love that.
to a busy daycare, they're unprepared, they're unqualified, they're hired. The Simple Life Interns. Coming soon to Fox.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
A punt coming with 3:53 left in this fourth quarter. And Barker's happy just to get that one away. And it will be out of bounds in the end zone as it hits the pylon. And starting from their own 20 will be the Chicago offense.
Boy, that was close. That was almost the first block in 823 straight punts if he hadn't gotten that one off.
Bernard Berrien almost got his hands on it. Out of bounds in the end zone as that punt. Bears take over.
Invention is greater than convention. Moving forward is greater than sitting still. Simple is greater than complex. Greater power, greater technology, greater beauty. The all-new Audi A6. It's greater to lead than follow.
Every time a man or woman puts on a uniform in our armed services, their entire family puts on that uniform too. honor the courage of these proud families, of reservists and members of the National Guard, and of all Americans who support their loved ones and friends as they defend freedom.
He's trying to escape his past.
Do you miss your old job?
I wanted something else out of life. But for Jack Bauer,
There was some chatter this morning about a possible attack.
instinct never dies. I am asking you to let me help. The new season of 24 begins with a premiere so big, it will take 2 nights to tell. It all starts next Sunday, with 2 full hours of the most critically acclaimed series on television. What we will accomplish today will change the world. And continues Monday with 2 more electrifying hours.
America has enemies.
The television event of the season is about to begin.
I want a visual and a location now. I can't do this without you. Are you with me?
24, the 2-night premiere event begins next Sunday on Fox.
There are the important scores here early. Minnesota still trailing by 11 at Washington. But the good news for them, the Jets lead at St. Louis by 5 as they begin the 4th quarter in St. Louis. Hutchinson fires, and Lyman, the tight end, makes the catch. And he is out to the 28. The Minnesota Vikings can literally back into the playoffs, even with a loss at Washington, as they trail by 11 with 7.5 minutes left there, if St. Louis loses.
You got to wonder how good they feel about that.
Better than St. Louis, it feels.
Next week, wild card playoff football action. Remember last year?
The Adlers won the toss. We won the ball, we're going to score.
Looks like pressure.
They're coming. The pass is picked off. Intercepted. Back the other way. The Green Bay Packers advance. Next Sunday, right here on Fox, 4 Eastern. Wild card playoff football. 3rd down and 2, and the pass to a wide open Desmond Clark. First down Chicago out across the 35 with 3 minutes left in this one. By the way, another way that Minnesota can get in, not only a St. Louis loss, but a Carolina loss. So both ways they're looking good for their playoff hopes, but as Troy said, literally would be them backing into the playoffs as the ball comes out and sitting there on the ground. And Chicago ends up back on top of it. That thing was sitting there for anyone to take, and the Bears get back on top of it. Campman and KGB collapsed on Hutchinson on the play.
Yeah, that's really, we talked about it a little bit earlier, one of the problems Chad Hutchinson has had. He's now 20 fumbles in 15 career games.
And he's got a chance for another. Flag comes in at the back end of the play. Arcal Truluck celebrating along with Corey Williams. And this offensive line for the Bears isn't blocking anybody.
Yeah, Green Bay had 21 players on the field.
And 3 of them hit Hutchinson.
Defense, 12 men on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That's twice today they've had too many men.
I'll tell you what, though, you got to like Chicago's consistency, because here with under 3 minutes to play and down 17 points, they're still throwing 5-yard routes. You know?
Baby steps, Troy. Baby steps.
There you go.
You got to crawl before you can walk. 2nd down and 10. Hutchinson hangs in, flips it high, caught by Wade, and Wade is wrangled down. A gain on the play of 7.
See, they're stretching it out now.
We're coming up with a 2-minute warning. Can they get the play away?
Well, they've got past their season average of 238. They're now at 242 yards for the day.
They do get the play off. Last play for the 2-minute warning. And it's Terrell on the catch. First down at midfield. And officially 1 minute 59 seconds remaining in the season for the Bears. Green Bay up 17.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by SBC. Going beyond the call.
Not in our house, buddy. Not today.
Oh, no! This ain't going down. Not today, baby!
Not today. Not tomorrow.
Nobody coming in here. Not nowhere else.
official card of the NFL and the house of the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, where they accept no other card to get you in. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Today, we'll help a computer company move components from South America to Asia. We'll manage their inventory in warehouses around the world. We'll send a €2 million payment to their vendor in Brussels. At UPS, we don't just synchronize deliveries. We help synchronize companies. UPS, what can Brown do for you?
Hello? It's happening again.
I don't believe it. To track down an ancient evil. They have been trained to hunt it.
We gotta go down there.
Equipped to kill it.
It's just the beginning.
Now, they just have to survive it. Alone in the Dark. Rated R. In theaters January 28th.
This day started with the Green Bay Packers filing out of their dressing room, looking at a locker that was made up with Reggie White's uniform top, shoulder pads, a helmet, as they salute the great Reggie White, who passed away last Sunday at the age of 43. Hutchinson on first down here, hands off to Thomas Jones. And we talked to Mike Sherman about Reggie White, Sherman was a tight ends coach when White was around. He said it was amazing how many battles he won just on fear alone. And you measure the greats by how they make other great players look. And he made some great ones. Troy, I'm thinking of one of your best offensive linemen, Larry Allen, looked pretty bad from time to time.
Yeah, he really did. And I tell you, Larry Allen, after that game, and Reggie White really did do a number on him on that Thanksgiving evening. And Larry Allen, he vowed to himself he'd never be embarrassed like that again on the football field, and it made him a better player in the long run, but Reggie White had a way of making a lot of people look bad on the football field.
Ball start. Offense number 75.
And why wouldn't it be?
5-yard penalty.
Number 75.
Remains third down.
He's playing across from KGB. KGB has a 4-sack day today for Green Bay.
And Mark Colombo, in just his second start back after that injury, has had a nightmarish day, and you wonder, it just adds to the list of what the Bears have to fix. But, you know, to go back to Reggie White, I think NFL players in general don't fear getting hurt. They fear getting embarrassed. And Reggie White had a way of embarrassing you. He had a hump move that he could literally take a 320-pound offensive lineman, hit him with a right hook, and you would see the guy flying out of the film. It was one of the most remarkable things that I had ever seen in the NFL. There it is right there. And guys would just go flying out of the picture. But Troy, probably what he did inside the locker room just as valuable for this team.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think that's what we gained an insight on throughout this past week. All the various people talking about him, they all talked about what he did on the field, but more importantly, what he meant as a person.
On fourth down and 16, Hutchinson's going to go down again. Arkel Trueluck. And turning it over on downs are the Chicago Bears. 9 Green Bay Packers sacks today.
I don't know if the rest of the defense is going to gain any confidence playing the Bears, but this pass rush certainly did today.
You know, just to finish on Reggie White.
Who never did that.
Never did that. But they honor him today. The irony of it was that the Green Bay Packers took on the Chicago Bears a few years ago, right after Walter Payton passed away in Green Bay. And the Chicago Bears came away from that game with a victory, and now honoring Reggie White coming out onto this field before the game. Here are the Green Bay Packers, not just getting a win, but I think getting a lot of things along with it. That is confidence for this defense. Some more records for this offense as Brett Favre has just continued, played for most of the first half, just continued a brilliant season here in 2004.
They got everything out of this game that they had hoped to get out of this game, as long as Javon Walker's okay and as long as Bubba Franks is okay, because that's the last thing that they could afford to have happen, was lose any more players. But you're right, from an offensive standpoint, the way they came out and played there with Brett Favre in that first half, And then, of course, the defense at times didn't look very good. Overall, they had a good game.
Well, and the thing you have to be a little bit leery of is don't get too confident based on what you did against the Chicago Bears offense, you know, because they're not going to see any Chicago Bear offenses come playoff time.
So the Green Bay Packers will head off the field winners of 9 of their last 11 games. They had the 6-game winning streak after that 1-4 start. They win the NFC North. They're the number 3 seed, the playoffs for the NFC, and they will finish the year 10-6. While the Chicago Bears are 5-11, and they have clearly a lot of work to do heading into this offseason, looking ahead to next football season here in Chicago. So that does it for this one. I'm Joe Buck for Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, and Pam Oliver. So long from Chicago. Right now, bonus coverage of the Vikings and Redskins game. Sam Rose and Bill Moss and Chris Myers are there for the conclusion of that one. Packers win today here in Chicago.
Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Sam Rose and Bill Moss and Chris Myers here in Landover, Maryland, where the Washington Redskins lead the Minnesota Vikings 21-10. The Redskins have led all the way from the opening series. Culpepper to Mo Williams. It gets up to the 29-yard line. The Vikings